I think everybody knows that you can make big power with a Hellcat. I think it's superior in every way.
Really?
Wow.
Yeah, stock for stock at least.
I mean, what are these BMWs doing? Come see me. I want to see you run 8s, because I bet you won't, and I bet you I'll throw a rope out the window and drag that.
Any Trackhawk in the country that wants it, from the OG twin-turbo Hawk, still running, can get it.
This scene up here, like Adam was saying, how nobody pays,
Yeah.
it's a joke. We got a whole lot of guys, you know, I'm being generous this year because they should be on the naughty list.
We got a lot of flack when we put out our $100,000 kit. But I would say that everybody that's running 8 in the Trackhawk that doesn't have it has spent $200 grand.
Easily.
Welcome back to another episode of the Street Alpha Podcast. I am your host, Tukes, and today we have Stefan, also known as Mo, as I always got on and say.
Crazy.
We got Stefan from Mod to Fame, or Mod to Fame, however.
What's going on, y'all? We back again. This time, I'm in the co-host spot.
Yeah, he's on my side. He's not fighting with me about the BMW. Like,
ooh, let's not do that.
We're joining forces today on the podcast. Pleasure to have you here, man. Thank you so much for making this happen as well.
Thank you for having me.
So we are at Ripatuned with Steve and Tony. Let's clap it up for Steve and Tony.
All right.
Thanks, man.
How are you guys doing?
Good, man. Thanks for coming out.
Yeah, I am excited for this episode. As you guys know, I'm not an American car guy. I'm not into Hellcats or anything like that. But hopefully you guys can convince me to maybe, in the future, appreciate the platform more.
Cool.
I know there's a lot of people that are calling you guys out all over the country.
Of course.
You guys pop up all the time. You too. It's actually him. He started all this shit. If you guys, the reality of it, he really did. Just for that one episode that he did, those clips went viral.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then it just became a thing where it brought more attention to the Hellcat platform.
Sure.
So I thank you for that, bro.
Nah,
Appreciate
come on,
it,
man.
You put me on the map. I'm not going to front. You did.
Family.
You did.
We do what we got to do.
So
even if we're on opposite sides of the brand
it's
track.
Cool. It's cool. BMWs are race cars, though. Just so that.
Dude, you really going to say that?
Nah,
it's probably not the right place to say that. But
so I want to know a little bit more about you guys. I know we've been speaking, right?
Yes.
Yeah, so we've been speaking.
Me, yeah.
And it's weird because when you speak to people on Instagram, you don't really have a face to them. So when I saw you, I was like, oh, is that?
yeah.
Maybe not. So yeah, I kind of want to know a little bit more about how you guys got into the platform. If you guys even started with this, and the earlier days when you guys got into racing and so on.
Right.
So how did you get your start into cars?
So I started like a long time ago, actually. Funny, like my very first car was a Toyota Paseo.
What?
Yeah.
Toyota
Going way
Paseo.
back. Yeah, I was learning how to drive stick in my driveway at
small
age
car.
12. So,
Damn.
so yeah, I mean, we bought this car when I was real young. I swapped an engine in my driveway with my father, and kind of just from there fell in love with cars. Modifying cars. That was always my thing.
Right. And
You
it
know.
wasn't what it was Toyota.
Yeah, this is way back. I was imports for probably 15 years.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Can you tell us a little bit more about that?
Like I went through basically all the cool import stuff back in the day. I had a Turbo S2000 back in the day.
Boy.
Yeah.
Boy.
This is way back. This is 2008, 2009.
Okay. I was at 2014.
Yeah. So like I had Felix tuned it. This is like, I think I was probably the first person with an exhaust out the hood.
Oh,
like
shit.
this is way back. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool. There's a bunch of videos on YouTube of it. You check it out. You probably see them. Like, ancient. It looks like film with a potato. Real old
What
stuff.
color was it?
White.
What was it? Your setup by MJ?
62, 65 top mount.
Oh, wow.
I think I had a set of, back then they were 1600 injectors, like a basic fuel pump setup.
Yeah.
AEM V1. Like,
You standalone.
Yeah, standalone back
Damn,
then.
he was not playing. Okay.
So
we gonna get that far.
We did that. Built an Evo with my brother. He had a pretty cool Evo. Kelford 280s, like 67 mil turbo.
Yeah,
This
those
is
are popular
back
at that time,
in the day, yeah. So we were doing all that stuff. Had an STI, and then from there, kind of started transitioning to the American car stuff.
Around what year was that when you started?
I would say probably 2000. 2010 maybe 2011.
Okay,
I
so-
had many cars like back and forth, so I had a couple of the same time, but always playing with different stuff.
Around that time, what were you like? What made you make the switch?
I think what maybe made the switch was watching people with the ability to go really fast. Because like back then there was not much of a aftermarket for anything that was import. I mean, some stuff, but
Yeah.
all the platforms were still new, I would say.
Right.
And then, I had a Mach 1 Mustang, and you could buy anything you wanted for a Mustang.
Of course.
Back then, yeah. So like I started getting into that. I kind of fell in love with the V8, just the amount of torque you can make and easy mods, go fast, stuff like that. So started racing that, and from there just played with, like I said, many different cars over the years. But I was never doing this for a living until 2017-ish.
Okay.
So basically, I did insurance sales. That was my full-time thing, and I had a pretty fast Corvette at the time, and ended up trading that in, and fell in love with a Hellcat that I saw, and kind of the rest is history from there. So that's actually the car that's sitting behind us.
Oh, that's dope. It's here.
Yeah. Yep.
Fire.
That's
We have it in
fire.
the background too.
Yeah.
So the S2000 wasn't fast enough. It wasn't
It was
doing for you?
fast. It was like they made like
Sorry.
600 wheel.
That's fast in the S2K,
back,
bro.
Yeah, back then it was fast. It would smoke anybody, honestly, back then. But
Especially on the roll.
yeah, no, it was fast.
Ow.
I think the car would still be fast today, honestly, driving it.
No, absolutely. Yeah, I was smoking people too.
So I grew up in a very strict Italian household that wasn't really supportive of cars. So I started doing it hidden. And, I grew up in an era where, like, we all watched Fast and Furious in a movie theater, and we, like, raced home as fast as we could and bought all the underglows we could
Story
find.
I told.
Doing car stereo. I mean, I did projects down in the Bronx working on fiberglass systems, and then slowly transitioned into performance. And what really kept me going on it was the first project I ever really did was a 1989 Mitsubishi Mirage hatchback with a 4G63. And at that point, I remember my father, I had to sell it to him I bought this car real cheap because it's going to be good on gas, and I'm going to drive it to college to and from. And he wasn't having that. He wasn't stupid. But it was the first time in my life that my dad, like, took an interest in what I was doing with cars, so it kept me going once he passed away to just keep doing it. I had a B5 S4 that made 630 wheel. That was tuned by Mike Body.
Really?
Yeah, Mikey. Me and Mikey go way back, where I was probably the second car Mikey ever tuned as a Subaru. Was a customer of mine. So we went back for years. I mean, I used to go away with him. We would drive up and down the East Coast. I would wrench on cars. He'd tune them. I mean, we got stories for days. The stuff you got to ask Mikey about his. When you see him, ask him about his Super Kia Power Shift. And he'll tell you all about that. I got a video of it just in case he tries to deny. But yeah, that's how I went. I had a B5 S4 that made a lot of power. I've had a handful of DSMs. I still have a 92 Galant VR4 that I restored with a 2.1 D-stroker, 6266.
You don't see those at all.
Yeah, I just had it redone, fully restored. It's a nice car. And then I guess I had like the midlife crisis one day and was like, I want a V8, man. I went and bought a Trackhawk. And I showed up here as a customer.
Yeah.
And I waited for Mike to put on an incognito pulley for me. And I think I won him over by telling him that the car was expensive garbage.
Yeah.
Because it was like $100,000 of panels pushing off and hanging off. And I was like, what did I do? And then I just started like hanging out until they eventually gave me a job. That was pretty much how it went.
That's dope, man.
Yeah,
So
cool.
you guys definitely have an appreciation for imports, and it's funny. I feel like
yeah.
a lot of people start there. Normally, for me, I don't even know how. I guess it's maybe family. Is that how you would even get into American cars? Because I mean,
I literally, because I was looking for something fun, fast. At the time, I was driving a E63 AMG, and I was tired of paying for tires, and I just wanted something with some power. And then I actually went and test drove a red-eye Hellcat, and I was like, oh, this thing's going to be awesome. But it was raining, and I was like, this thing is not awesome.
No.
And the guy was like, hey, man, we got the Jeep here. And I didn't even know what it was at the time. I was like, what do you mean? He's like, it has the same engine. I was like, all right, sold. And I fell in love with it. The day I picked it up, I drove from Albany, New York to down to Westchester where I live, picked up 4 of my friends, drove down to Atlantic City, partied. I was like, this thing's great, man. 700 horsepower, fit everybody in it. It was great, It's the best car I ever bought. At that point, I was excited.
around what year was this that you guys connected?
I would say this is like 2020.
Oh, so it's not too far. It's
No.
like
Yeah,
a couple years ago.
Yeah, we're
1920s,
we're
so
pretty young as a company overall. I would say I started doing this stuff actually part time with Mike in my garage. Like
I'm sorry,
right after I got the
guys.
car.
We said Mike twice. Who's Mike?
Mike is
He's sitting behind
lead
you.
Tech. Yeah.
Oh.
So
I'm like, body? Like what?
No.
but yeah, so we started this I would say 2017.
Okay.
And it's pretty funny. So we actually got our start fixing cars that were done bad by other shops.
Really?
Yeah. So I had like a couple people just hit me up on Instagram. Like we were going pretty fast with this purple car. People were really interested in what we were doing. They would just hit me up on Instagram and say, hey, can you help me out? I think I'm getting steered in the wrong direction. I need help with this or that. My car's not functioning right, whatever.
Yeah.
And then the cars would end up in my house. It got to the point where we had like 13 or 14 Hellcats at my house, and I had transport dropping cars off. I was like, we can't do this anymore. So we ended up getting a smaller facility than this. We were only there for a year. We grew out of it immediately. And we were basically just putting packages together for people, installing stuff, fixing stuff. And in the meantime, building some pretty fast stuff. And from there, it kind of exploded. So
You said that the Hellcat was going fast.
Yep.
At what point in time is this, and what is fast?
So this is 2017. If anybody's familiar with the Hellcat
the car
stuff.
came out in what year?
Car came out in 15, and there was not really much of an aftermarket until 16. Once you got into like 2016, Diablo Sport was tuning stuff. The computer was unlocked. This is like before HP tuners, all that kind of stuff. So the car was tuned on Diablo. We were like one of the first people to put E85 in it. And with really minimal stuff, no trans tuning, nothing at all, we actually ended up going 9.3 in the car. Full interior, just a set of wheels on it.
Wow.
And this is a long time ago, like in
impressive,
Hellcat land. And then from there, we ended up going back again, put a 15-inch conversion on the car, and we went 9.1 with it at 151, which is still quick by today's standards.
Yeah. Especially for that amount of mods.
Yeah, and this is like, that car has a total of 1,800 miles on it, total. Like it was never driven much.
Wow.
Yeah. So it's had every setup in the book on it. Like we've done every single setup. You probably saw it back in the day, single turbo in the grill, like way back.
I thought that was a Pro Charger.
Yeah, no, huge single turbo. So we did that. We developed the centrifugal supercharger kit for it before anybody, and then from there we've been just kind of messing with every kind of setup out there to try to find the optimal stuff.
So you mentioned that a lot of other shops were like fucking up, and then cars will come to you. Do you find that happens a lot in today's society still?
Not as much, because social media has really taken hold. So I would say the people who are doing a really shitty job are not around anymore.
Yeah, they've kind of faded out.
Yeah, like you can go online now and just you'll see like reviews of people, or you go on Facebook and there's like every single day there's 4 or 5 new people with a Hellcat looking for recommendations or whatever. Our name comes up, HHP comes up in this area. There's a bunch of people in this area that do come up, and everybody does a great job, I would say. But the people that don't do a great job aren't around anymore. The people that I'm talking about, the cars that we were fixing, are long gone.
Do you know of any other shops? Like, is it what would I like if, let's say, if I had a Hellcat, where do you think I should go? Where, if you're not in East Coast or where we're at?
We work with many dealers. Like they'll sell our packages, install our stuff. But I have a group of friends all over the country. There's a lot of good shops out there.
Can you talk about your packages, like what you guys offer?
Yeah, so we have like a bunch of different things. So we have our incognito lower pulley. That was like the big hit. That's kind of what put us on the map.
Yeah, but it didn't start off so good, did it? Not with in terms of people's perception.
Oh yeah, so like people, I would say along the way said that it was not good for the car.
Didn't work.
It didn't work. Yeah, and I would say
The harmonics.
yeah, all sorts of different. They'd come up with anything they wanted to say, because it kind of went against the grain. We came up with a product that was able to be put on the car, and you didn't have to do any kind of tuning at all. You didn't have to take anything apart.
Okay.
Like, so it's, for example, on these cars, if you pin the crank, which you had to do, if you did an upper pulley, a solid upper pulley, if you unlocked the computer, if you did anything as far as like grinding the front cover, like for doing like a larger ATI balancer or anything like that, those would all be grounds for a warranty void on the car. And what we came out with was basically a sleeve that goes over the lower damper, and it's a larger overdrive. And by doing that, we were able to get like 2 to 2.5 pounds of boost out of the car, and it was completely untraceable. There was no way that anybody could find anything
It's reversible.
out.
You could take it off.
Yeah.
You never know what was on there.
Yeah. So we put that on there, and we did extensive testing on a customer of ours' car, good friend of ours, and he was running like crazy times right out the box with this part and some other stuff we did. But even with just this part and the Hellcat, he was going 10.2. This is back in 2019. Which is still like, faster than a red eye and a Hellcat, basically. We're just putting this part on. And we were able to basically give you red eye performance for, at that point, it was only like $700.
Yeah.
No tuning, no nothing. And there was a lot of people out there, especially shop owners, that were like, this guy's going to kill us with this thing, because basically, they were going to have to bring a car into them and do the upper pulley swap and tune it and all this kind of stuff. And we found out that most people would like, I would say, the ability to keep their warranty at that point. Sure. And we sold literally thousands of them. And that's kind of what built this whole little empire we have going. So
it was a start to where you guys are now.
Yep.
So me and Stefan had a conversation about trans brake with these cars. Can you kind of explain what that is for people who don't really know and aren't familiar with that?
So you can't technically do any kind of trans brake unless you're adding components to a Hellcat transmission. There is one out there. But the only trans brake that's available is in the Demon, the 1320, and obviously the Demon 170. It's all electronic, built into the car.
Okay.
But they only technically work on like supercharged applications right now. There's nothing really trans brake related. Yeah, that's going to be working, let's say, with the turbocharger, because all these cars, the launch control only goes to 2,500. You're not going to be building boost in these cars if they're turboed at 2,500 RPMs. So we go about it a different way. We work with Chris at Pure, and we spec the many different converters, kind of like the same stuff the BMW guys do.
Right. Right.
And we go off the foot brake with a 2-step box, and we're able to build, big boost in these Trackhawks and Durangos, TRXs, stuff like that in the quarter mile. So, but as far as the trans brake, there's not really an option, I would say, yet, but there's, I would say, look in the next couple quarters next year, you're probably going to see something for everything.
So my mom has become my biggest fan for the podcast. And when she's watching, she tunes out for certain parts. Mm-hmm. So for this specifically, can you explain what the trans brake is so she understands a little bit better?
Oh, okay. So basically what a trans brake will do, it's going to lock 2 gears. Okay. So basically like a first and reverse. And you can basically just floor it, the car, like full throttle or whatever. Locks those together. As soon as you let go of whatever you're triggering it with, it's going to basically allow the car to move forward under much more torque, much more boost, things of that nature. So
if your mom's listening, I'm sorry. I'm cursing.
Yeah, she watches it while she's working. She's a teacher. So you guys have some records, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That were
you gotta get Khaled in here because it was one and then another one,
okay,
and another one. You know what I mean? Like,
let's talk about the first record. Let's not get too close to the most recent event. But what was the first record you guys broke, and what platform was it on?
So the very first.
Can we start with one thing though?
Yeah, go ahead.
We weren't racing at first.
Yeah, that's true.
We were building packages for the enthusiast that just wanted his car to be a little quicker. Maybe a Corvette pulls up next to him. He wants to give him some gas, right?
Okay.
And everybody was online. Rippa's slow. Rippa don't make fast cars.
Yeah, because it's just fast lists online.
And I
like
remember
people,
my
you didn't see our
post.
name on them or whatever, like on Facebook, and they have these big lists of people, like how fast you went. And then they always have the shop name.
Yeah.
And we were never there because we were always...
We didn't care to be.
Yeah, we were either dealing with high-end customers who were dropping cars off, and they would just want something that they was going to be able to add 200 or 300 horsepower. They drive it around completely reliable, and between doing that and building a business, we weren't really involved at that point in trying to go fast, because there's a lot that goes along with like building and maintaining the fastest cars in the world. So, but yeah, so the record, that the big one was the Trackhawk. I would say the Trackhawk platform is probably one of the more popular ones, I would say, these days.
Yeah. Just
because it's street friendly. Like, you don't really see a lot of Hellcat street racing because they don't really work well, I would say.
Is that why?
Yeah, I mean, they make a ton of horsepower on the street.
You're right. That's a valid point. I really don't see the...
on prep, these are completely different animals, though. Like, when you see people calling out Hellcats, they're always from a roll. They're not going to be trying to call Hellcat out.
Or they want to do it in 30-degree weather.
Yeah, there's always some kind of stipulation.
surface, on the street somewhere. That's what they want to call out.
Well, it's also, you know what it is too, is the platform is also relatively new and it's expensive to modify, right? So,
Okay.
like, you know, I hear people, I heard somebody on going live with you the other day going, I don't want to hear nothing about no Trackhawk. Them things are all garbage. I mean, a Hellcat, they're all garbage. Dude, you're racing a Hellcat that's got a pulley and injectors, and you're talking about a motor swapped car that you're running. You know, nobody's really running a standalone. Nobody's doing these crazy builds that, I mean, you see some of these Civics out there. These, I mean, the money that's in those, it wasn't happening on these cars, and it hasn't yet. You know, it's still a new platform, right?
I would say there's only like 5 or 6 Hellcats that are like competitive in the 7s. Like competitive, and there's some that are faster in the 6s. There's 2 cars that are in 6s, but then if you look into the 8s,
full littered,
dude, you will talk about hundreds and hundreds of cars
are in the 8s.
Yeah,
but so if a lot of them cars are in the 8s, how come, like, isn't that good for like street racing though? Wouldn't it be good for street racing?
That's
like a good range to be in.
It's tough, like I said, because these cars
don't hook.
They don't really hook well on the street, and no one. I would say not no one, but most people are not putting coilovers on them like all these other, makes are doing and stuff like that. They're still running the stock suspension. Because if you go to the track with a Hellcat and you have a pretty nice setup making, let's say 12 or 1300 wheel, the car's going to go 8.2, 8.3, because they hook well at the track. They just don't work well on the street.
Another thing too,
really crazy 60-foot, like just
really
nasty
crazy.
Yeah.
Like what? Like
1-2. Like
1-2?
Yeah, they're crazy.
1-1.
Yeah.
There's some.
You know what it is too, is that when you're saying you don't see them street racing, that's because you're in the tri-state area.
Yeah.
Oh, really? So like
you go down south.
Texas,
there's definitely
you go down
grudge
south.
racer
I mean,
Hellcat stuff, but
I spent a year and a half in Louisiana, and that's all you saw was a Mopar.
Yeah.
So you actually brought up a good point, Tony. You said it's still a relatively new car. The car came out in 2015. The computers were unlocked in 16. Would you say?
Yeah, 16.
Finally, to start tuning them. So when you say relatively new, compared to what?
Yeah.
Just
let's like talk about, I guess, compared to like a GTR.
Yeah.
Compared to even like
well, even the BMW stuff, right? Even though the cars are new, it's a matter of the support that's involved, right? Like, for instance, Audis, right? These guys they have stock PCMs and they have a trans brake or a 2-step hooked up to their paddles.
Yeah.
No one's
even
no
the Ford
one's
community
even
has
unlocked
that
capability on a Hellcat. You know, I mean, you could even look at like Camaros, for instance, with HP tuners, like the things you could do with a Camaro as opposed to a Hellcat. I mean, for how many years were people mess with that, the neural network and all that stuff? It's just like it just hasn't evolved.
Yeah,
it's not there yet. It's starting to get there now.
Yeah, you see a lot more swaps. We built a really cool C10, like older pickup truck.
Mm-hmm.
Thing is completely violent. It's so much fun with the Hellcat power plant. But you're starting to see a lot of swaps, and it almost is kind of going from everything's getting LS swapped to everything's getting Hellcat now, because people are starting to see the potential of it. Mopar came out with a crate harness kit, so you could basically put one of these things in your car, and as long as you put a transmission that's like let's say a turbo 400 or stick shift or anything that doesn't need a controller per se, like a stock Hellcat transmission, you could have the thing running with 3 wires basically. Plug in all the plugs, comes with the PCM, and you're starting to see a lot more of those swaps. And then now you're starting to see a little bit more of the back end of electronic stuff. Other companies trying to get on board. And like I said, I think over the next year or two, as the platform ages a little bit, you're going to see a lot more like really, really good like engine management and things of that nature is what we need, I would say. So that's the biggest thing right now, because we make the power, and the transits are holding up. The power plants are holding up, especially in, anything all-wheel drive.
Right.
They're almost unstoppable on the street as long as, basically what we run at the track, we run on the street, if not better. Let's put it that way.
Okay, so go ahead.
No, I was just saying how that was a crazy statement.
Yeah, and in a Durango or a Trackhawk, I mean, we have draggy stuff on the street that's faster than the world's fastest Trackhawk. On paper, let's say.
When you're mentioning on paper, right?
Yeah.
I notice a lot of people, when it comes to street racing, they go based off of like draggy.
Yeah.
How do you compare that to like the cars that are going to the track?
So my personal opinion, I believe every record should have a time slip.
Yeah.
I don't think it should be anything draggy related. You shouldn't be on any list with a draggy.
There's just more involved when you go to a racetrack.
Yeah.
you know, you've been there, right? I mean, you know, it's my first time at a racetrack was petrifying.
What'd you run?
Oh my God, like a 12.7.
What car?
In a 89 Mirage hatch, 4G63 peg legging it down the track, you know. Did a burnout, went through the burnout box, almost smacked a wall. The guy screaming at me to back up.
Shit.
Yeah, I was a kid. I didn't know what I was doing. It's like terrifying.
Yeah.
I think I had a motorcycle helmet on, you know. I didn't know, roll up windows. I'm trying to roll them up. That's a whole nother world than going to the perfect road and hitting start.
Yeah, like
and then
at like 3 o'clock in the morning when
now I
it's
floored it, it's
3,000
ready.
negative
Like,
DA,
come
you know?
on, dude. Like, it just listen. It's got its own respect. It's an awesome tool. It's like a dyno, you know.
Yeah.
We're not gonna. What's next? We're gonna start telling people the fastest car is the one that made the most power on a dyno.
So
Go to track.
To that point, I made a statement that I have the fastest stick shift Hellcat in the world. Yet I've never done a quarter mile with the car. It's all based off of my 60 to 130 and 100 to 150 on dragy. How do you feel about a statement like that?
Personally,
know that.
yeah, my personal opinion on it is it should have a drag strip.
Yeah, you
slip.
need to slip.
Yeah.
You got to modify your statement. Say I have the fastest draggy stick shift.
Or the fastest
Hellcat.
60. Yeah.
I have the fastest stick shift Hellcat
Because
on a draggy.
before a draggy, like you had to go to the drag strip.
Yeah,
I mean, nothing's changed with that. But
you know what it's like. We were just there. You
So
know,
the closest to that is, I guess, me going to Pocono and setting a number and
Yeah.
nobody's beating
well,
me.
that's and then once again, that's roll race, right? Because when you're making a statement of the fastest, the fastest what, right? Because roll race cars, quarter mile cars, everything's set up differently. But
So
in
the
respect,
statement that I
there's-
made was street car, fastest. I mean, no, stick shift, I said no matter what it is,
Yeah.
right? But like I said, I've never been to a drag strip with the car and actually ran a number of
Right.
any sort, right? I never even figured out how to launch the car because, as you mentioned, building boost and all that. You know, I was very early on the turbo stuff, so
yeah.
everybody watched me make those baby steps.
yeah,
You know, I would say like
fastest draggy.
Thank you, Tony.
it's I don't know. Like I said though, the
Fastest
draggy
manual
stuff. I would say the draggy stuff though, like around here, we're losing so many drag strips.
Yeah.
So you're definitely gonna see more of it because there's nowhere to go. Like we lost Englishtown years ago. We lost Atco this year. Island is like negligible at best, you know, and like it's not really the best track around. Obviously, you got to go all the way to Maryland to get a good track. You know, it's a hike,
Right.
You know, and not a lot of people want to do it. So, so I think you're going to see more of it. I think it's going to become like more of a standard over the next few years. But I think as of right now, like if people are trying to go onto like one of the fast lists of people, I think it should have a time slip.
So what does that list look like right now for your platform, the Hellcats?
So Durango, fastest in the world. We have the top 2 fastest.
This one.
This exact one, yeah.
Yep.
What
On
number?
20s.
What number did it run?
So this truck ran 849 at basically 165 in the quarter.
This shit look fast. I ain't gonna front.
Hold on. No, it doesn't. It looks like a damn school
Not
bus.
with them well, you used to this, bro.
The bead locks makes gives
That's
it
what I'm
away.
saying. Yeah.
But if it didn't have
Yeah,
those
we ran it
wheels
with
on
these ET
are like-
Street SS fronts though, like nothing crazy, but 20-inch bead locks, no
the back tires.
trade conversion or anything.
It's
If
just
I see that pull up next to me, I'm not
right.
trying.
I mean,
Yeah.
yes,
That's
the
what I
back
mean.
tires. But if it had like the front was in the back,
Yeah, but
you wouldn't think.
hold
nothing
on. He
of it.
say he's
course,
not.
yeah, right,
He say he's not trying now because he knows it's 840. But before he'd be like, "Oh, it's a slow Mopar. I'll make it my Beamer." The next
I'll
thing
be
you know, he's
cruising,
throwing
man.
a
I'll be
rope out the
cruising.
window, dragging you.
Don't worry, I'll be out there soon. I'll be out there soon, bro.
Speaking of slow Mopar, we get it pretty bad.
Oh, yeah.
I would say, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, we get
so,
it bad.
you know, we get Hellcats are slow. They're trash. As people who actually build these cars, you know, what is your opinion when you compare a Hemi to an LS or a Coyote?
I think it's superior in every way.
Really?
Wow.
Yeah.
was
Stock
not
for
expecting
stock
that.
for stock at least.
Okay,
Tell us more.
explain.
So, a couple examples. The TRX, that is the world's fastest TRX, or we actually just beat it with another one, but the one that held the title for a long time is a stock Hellcat motor. I mean, when I say stock, it's completely factory sealed.
Never opened.
How
Valve
much do
covers
those
on.
cars weigh by sorry?
That truck weighs like 6,200 pounds. It runs 9.3 at 145
Nah,
in a
that's-
pickup truck.
That's crazy.
Unopened motor.
This is what I'm getting at. Is that's an unopened motor. We had that thing on the dyno. Truck makes hair over 1,400 wheel on the completely stock engine. He's got 32,000 miles on it. 25,000 of them are twin turbo E85. So he beats the living hell out of this thing.
Yeah.
Bad. You know, there's like a guy with a Trackhawk in Florida, stock engine. He just went 8.7 with it at like 100, I think right around 160. That truck runs nitrous, and it's got to be making, 1,500 wheel on spray, completely stock engine. So that's where I'm getting this. Even my purple car, we ran that thing for years, completely stock engine. I would say stock for stock, there's not going to be really much out there that's going to be able to make the same amount of power as one of these. Power handling, at least. Stock blowers topped out, obviously, right around 1,000 to 1,100. But if you change it to being turbo, take the blower off, put an intake manifold, you can go very far with a stock engine with proper tuning and fueling. So
that actually brings up another point. You said that taking the blower off, right? Yeah. Mm-hmm. As we look, this platform historically has always been about supercharger, and if you want to go even faster, you add nitrous.
Right, yeah.
Where did this whole turbo thing come in? Where did it come from?
Well, I think it came from our import days, honestly.
Yeah.
We knew about turbos. A lot of the guys with this platform are American car guys. A lot of them came from like CTSVs and, LS9 Corvettes and stuff like that, who started building these cars. They weren't really familiar with the turbo stuff. We knew all about it. So we knew automatically taking the blower off, we're going to gain power because it takes a lot of horsepower to run it. Like a stock Hellcat blower is using about 150 horsepower if it's pulleyed just to run it. So you're going to obviously remove that loss right off the rip. And then turbos are more efficient. So boost for boost, I would say a Hellcat making 20 pounds on pulleys, E85 or whatever, it's probably going to make like 950 wheel. I would say one of our setups that's turbo on a stock motor is going to make right around 1,250, 1,300 wheel at 20 pounds.
My car made 1214 at 20 pounds.
Yeah.
You gotta look at when you're talking about the question you asked about the Mustangs and the LSs.
Coyote, yeah.
So here's the thing. If you want a liquid to air manifold for a Hellcat, where do you go? We make one.
I was going to say, I don't know.
If you want one for a Mustang or a Chevy, there's 30 of them. 30 different places. Yeah. So, it just comes down to the availability of it, right? That's why people haven't done it. Why I try and set ourselves apart from a lot of places is we actually make things.
Yeah.
We're not taking a catalog and ordering parts and putting it on a car, and now the only thing that separates us from the next guy is the guy behind the laptop. That's not it. There's a lot involved in this, and
there's a lot of people going twin turbo now.
And people are starting to do it too, and I think that's what's going to bring this platform up is the competition of everybody doing it, because for a long time it was just put this part. It was like the old Subaru, I got an access port stage 2.
Yeah, everybody was,
it was the same thing. Every car was the same.
Everybody's arguing about what the best pulley is, and they're all the same size.
Yeah.
So you're like... It's literally like, what are you arguing about? It's like whoever makes it you like, whatever it is. But there was no real difference at that point. Like Tony said, it's the guy behind the laptop, the conditions you were racing in, how light your car was.
Yeah, who went to the downhill track.
Yeah, who hooked, you know what I mean? Like,
shout out to Cecil.
You know what I'm talking about. It was at Kentucky.
Oh, yeah.
You see it in the video. It's like downhill. It was like, what are you guys doing there?
Yeah.
The Jersey barriers are on like a 45.
Okay. But yeah, so I would say those people that were just bolting parts on the cars.
Yeah.
Those were the people that are kind of still playing in that realm. And then there's some of people like us. There's other shops as well that are starting to make some stuff that's really cool. Going turbo. There's a lot of people who just bashed us right off the rip. Like, these cars are supposed to be supercharged. That's not a Trackhawk anymore because it's not supercharged. I'm like, read the VIN
I think a lot of them is because they can't do it.
You know what I mean?
Bitter.
So, but it's what it comes down to is they didn't know how to do it. They didn't have the means to do it. They didn't have a fabricator to do it. Yeah, we kind of set ourselves up early on. We went out on a limb and said, let's go down this road. We know it's going to work. It's going to take some time to do it. And it's obviously paid off. So,
was there anybody at that time who you guys got inspiration from, maybe, to do this setup? Because normally when there's nothing, for me, when I was doing the turbo setup on my S2K, only thing I had was the forums.
Right.
and very few people who were doing stuff at that time. So like, was it like that for you guys when you guys started?
I mean,
Fueled
there was
by
no real
haters.
stuff for like Hellcat related stuff like that. But I would
Okay.
say there's other platforms that we looked at.
Other platforms.
Yeah,
okay.
like I would say like the F-150 stuff. Those guys were a few years ahead of us
Okay.
going twin turbo. But you watched that platform all-wheel drive truck, you know what I mean, flying. And then we replicated it in a way that's obviously different because it's a completely different power plant. But twin turbo, you know,
Right.
no supercharger, intake manifold. And then it's obviously, like I said, it's paid off greatly. Everybody out there who's fast with a supercharger on a Trackhawk, every single one of them is going twin turbo.
Yeah.
So
That's the way
there's,
to
I would
go,
say
huh?
there's 8 or 9 guys now that are in the 8s. Every single one of them is going twin turbo that was supercharged. And these are the same people who said it would never
Yeah,
work.
they all
to
said it
us.
didn't work. But I just, like I
So.
said, just fueled by hate.
Yeah.
I'm fueled by haters. You
So, I
tell
mean,
me I
we-
can, I'm gonna.
Yeah.
I'm gonna. It's it's gonna happen.
So, you guys know Boosted Lucky, right?
Yeah.
Good friend of mine now. We
Mm-hmm.
speak every now and then. Do you guys know what he's running on his side? Any chance?
Whipple.
Right. So,
Whipple nitrous.
where do you think that, like, what are the capabilities of that? Like, what can you do with that?
I guess you're just going to be limited by the pulley combo and the blower's reliability. Those
Okay.
two things together are going to be the biggest.
Yeah, they're relatively new. That
Yeah.
Gen 6 Whipple and the Gen 5 was
The Gen 5 had a lot
a
of
load
problems.
of crap.
Yeah.
We were actually going to use one as a footrest during a podcast.
Damn.
That's all it's used for nowadays. I mean,
But
When you say crap, what do you mean? Have you run into
we
issues
sold
with them?
sold about 50 of them. I'd say what 20,
I think more than that.
25.
Yeah.
At least half came back within
What was wrong
the
with them?
first week.
Rotor
Just
touching.
issues, rotor packs being shot. Just
Yeah.
poor QC on their part is my opinion on it. They're just
A lot of these blowers were getting made during. So they were getting
Oh.
sourcing parts from wherever they could get them
Right.
to put them together. And we literally had cars from this shop that had left and they got shipped back to our customers. So we have people that get stuff delivered from all over the country. So put the blower on it, tune it. A couple days later, it's locked up. So we're shipping the car back on our dime. You know, we're taking a blower off the shelf, fixing it, putting it back, you know, all the labor on our dime, stuff like that. And then knowing that going back out, it's completely feasible that it's going to happen again with those. So all the blower stuff now, we've actually gone back and we strictly run the stock supercharger at this point, doing like porting of the throttle body, and I mean not ported throttle body, but like a larger throttle body, ported snout. We work with Kong; they do a nice job, and then we keep it at that. And then we do engine mods on the opposite side. So we do a camshaft, so we can run a little more pulley on pump gas because it lowers the boost, makes the engine more efficient overall. You'll do like a stroker motor to get more power out of it. So if a guy wants to go fast blower related, I would say just stock blower nitrous, you know. But like there's guys who have gone 7s with the stock supercharger with nitrous.
That's
So-
pretty. That's
yeah, it's impressive.
crazy.
Yeah.
Bitch.
So it's
I
one of
ain't
those
never
things where
seen I ain't never seen no stock turbo BMW doing that.
Do what?
Oh, here we
Sevens.
go with the BMW stuff.
I'm sorry.
You really want to do that here, bro? Like you said,
I ain't seen no stock turbo. See, Super either go 7s.
stock turbo.
I ain't never seen it.
All right. So what's considered stock?
Literally.
like the one that comes on
the
the car.
one that comes on the car.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not saying the BMWs are stock. I'm just saying, like, what do you guys consider stock?
The part that comes on the car.
Yeah, I mean,
Unopened, everything. Like,
You can
You
literally
can port the snout, but
you
there's
can.
not
I think you can
port
do it
a
without even
bearing
porting the
plate.
snout. Honestly,
Well,
with
yeah.
nitrous, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't even think you would need it. Obviously,
Granted,
you're putting
that
a
is
pulley
2
on it.
power adders.
2 power adders, yeah.
yeah, well, one came with it.
Right.
Yeah.
But still,
Same thing.
technically,
Yeah, but a
that's 2
lot of
power
these
adders.
super guys are using spray added hole too.
Oh, 100%. Most of
know.
them are 2 power adders.
So-
If they're getting down to those numbers, they need nitrous.
Yeah,
They can't get out the hole fast enough.
Yeah.
okay. I mean, you guys got extra cylinders, though, right?
yeah.
And
but
we also
there
we
we
also
go.
got an extra
We also got
2,000
an
pounds.
extra.
Y'all come for BMWs, but y'all don't come for Honda guys.
I mean,
listen.
who really,
I'm not even going to front. I haven't
really
even
wants to get
got
into
All
to
right,
that
that
but
argument?
argument.
here's
You
the
don't
whole
want
thing.
to.
But I'll get into the one thing about the Honda thing. They're very. I respect them.
Yeah.
You have
But
to.
what have the new things done?
What do you mean?
Come on, these guys are still running Ks, man.
Oh yeah,
And they're running
Yeah.
the
What
fast
what
on
did
the
the
D-Series.
cars come with? They stopped putting Ks in things when it was an RSX.
yeah.
Those new motors are garbage. There's nothing really going on with those. Am I right or wrong? I haven't seen anything. A new
Nah.
SI, new Type R. They're not doing anything. right? It's the K that's the holy grail.
Right.
The B, listen, the B was a beast too, don't get me wrong.
Still is.
But the K is the holy grail, right? So that's just the 4G63, right? Can I throw that out there? Let's be real. That was the 4G63 was the only car that ever made a V8 sweat.
Yeah.
That was the only motor that ever scared a V8. Brent Rao running 6s and 7s, Busher, those guys, that's what put that import scene on the map.
Yeah.
Right there. And you know, I'm not taking anything away from the Hondas. I respect those things. Like, it is beyond impressive what those boys are putting down now that they're all-wheel drive. I want one. I want one.
Yeah.
Like, I want a daily EK
about
all-wheel
building
drive. Like, it would just be awesome, you know?
Why you so quiet, bro?
But if you look at that,
I ain't got nothing to say.
4G63, you know, there's always that one. There's always that one platform that is signature. You know, so it's not like, oh, Hondas, because they really ain't doing anything.
The new one's
It's the old stuff that's doing something.
Right,
You know, it's the
right.
K, and
but
much
that's
respect.
but
for
that's
the K.
also goes back to like the longevity and how long the platform's been around.
Yeah, and how long did it
true,
take for
too.
the Ks to do it? Right.
Yeah.
You know, it took a
So-
while, but that respect.
I think
to
with, I
those
think with a
things,
few
'cause
more
they're
years,
moving.
I think you're going to see this platform really excel once turbo stuff comes into play. Like
That's
doing.
what it is. The
Yeah.
turbo stuff.
Yeah.
Because a lot of these cars are more like it was mentioned before, like they're like hood trophies. They're literally like
So
hood
I
trophies.
actually resent that statement.
It's the truth.
It's not the truth.
Why not?
Hood trophies, to your point of what you're
They
saying,
become.
that's a
like
very, very small subset of owners who own these cars. You might see a RT with a cat delete, a scat. I mean, with a muffler delete, a scat with a muffler delete. There are not that many Hellcats out there.
No.
And they are definitely not mostly in the hood. And they definitely mostly don't have 25%
So-
interest rates.
so
So I'm
here's
explain
the-
something to you. American car owners typically have the bank accounts that most people wish that they could have. High-end American cars, they could buy whatever car they want. They choose to drive that. Corvette owners are that way. Camaro, high-end Camaro owners are that way. Hellcat owners are that way. I sold a product to all different types of cars. I used to sell wheels, 3-piece custom wheels, to all kind of cars. The people who dropped the most money wasn't a Lambo guy. It wasn't an Audi guy. It wasn't a BMW guy. They were there too. They bought product too.
Okay.
But American car guys, they have a different type of disposable income,
Yeah.
and they prefer to be more understated.
It's
with it.
usually like the blue collar.
So
blue
I
collar
resent
business owner.
that hood thing that you talk about, because it then associates to me, and I know what I ain't, and I
So-
know what I got, and I don't.
So I'll tell you just real quick. Let me touch on that.
I'll let him finish.
So being down south, right? There's a million Mopars, and what was broken down to me about it is, let's be real, dude. What if you look at what you're getting for a car when you go buy a Scat or an SRT8 or even just a Charger RT?
A lot of car for the money.
Yeah, dude. I mean, they're comfortable. It's big. You know, if you got a family, you kind of have a sports car, but you could still get your kids around.
Yeah.
They're awesome, you know, and it's rear-wheel drive. It's way more cheaper and practical than a Camaro, because that ain't 4 doors, right? Like, what kind of a 4-door sedan, sports sedan, can you buy for that $30,000 range, we'll say, used or whatever, you
Used,
know?
yeah.
So that was a big market to it. The other thing, too, is once again, the demographics up here. When you go down south, you will find people that have, like, you know, I knew people, they had that "f you" money. You know, I got money, so "f you."
Yeah.
And these people, they're not even buying Lambos.
No.
They got 4 or 5 ZR1s.
Exactly.
They got a Demon. They got an F550, you know, towing a yacht. They got the race trailer that you're like, damn, this is nicer than my fucking apartment.
Yeah.
You know, so that just comes down to a demographic. They don't like that stuff. It's not them, you know? So like, but in this area, like, are American cars that hot? Not really. I felt like American cars weren't really that sought. I mean, when I was a kid, you wanted a Jap stuff. You wanted a Beamer. Like, you
Right.
want that New York City club life. You know, you look fresh in an M3. Like, think about G35s, right? They were huge. Oh, you had to have
Yeah.
that Infinity,
When
right?
that first came
It's
out,
just-
yeah.
That's because the scene that we're in. That's where we live. That's why it was hot.
Yeah.
But you go to the rest of the country, dude, even just driving down the road, you don't even see Hondas. People are commuting with commuter Chevys. People that still have that America, blue blood, union, you know, like, I'm buying an American-made car because I live in America, right?
Yeah.
So That's
And
a huge part of it, man. And these takeover guys are they're ruining
Disgusting.
it, and they're giving everybody a bad name. People are getting hurt, but bro, they're doing the same shit with G35s. You know that.
Yeah.
And honestly, up here, you don't see scats and shit doing it. No, you see any rear-wheel drive BMW or any rear-wheel drive Infiniti or any 350Z that's clapped out with, there was a $4,000 car because it's rear-wheel drive. It's rear-wheel drive, they're going to drift it. That's just how it works. And it's what people had up here.
Hey, going back to what you were saying, I would say Dodge definitely changed the game too, with the big, comfortable, fun car.
Yeah,
Once they started putting even the 6.4 in a Jeep, and then they put Hellcats and all this stuff, they were smart. As soon as they put it in these cars, man, it took off.
And
then
the name,
the TRX, I would
name's
say,
cool, bro.
Yeah, I would say
but
75% of our TRX clients own their own business, contractors, own some sort of business in one way or another, and they use the truck every day. And these are the same guys, trading it in 2 years, but they're putting a turbo kit on it now. And that's a great customer to have. The people enjoy their stuff, and they're coming back for more later. So
I feel like you guys are all talking about from a customer, like a business standpoint, and that's not what I meant.
So what do you got? I'm coming at
Hood
you.
trophy, and I'm from my area. I'm technically from the hood from my area. I'm not from Brooklyn or anything like that. But
I'm from Brooklyn in the hood.
Right. But there's other hoods that aren't in Brooklyn.
Okay.
So go ahead.
So there are certain cars that people, it's a
Aspire
hood
to.
trophy, aspire to have. And this is one of them. A Hellcat is like, if you
Okay.
have a Hellcat, even at let's say Atlanta, same
That's
thing.
a fair
I
statement.
I'm gonna go out on a limb though and tell you why. Is
Dodge's marketing?
That and the culture, right? So
Maybe.
so let's
more
think
about
about what type of music would you say is liked in the hood?
Rap.
It's not
And
even
how many
hip-hop
rap
anymore.
songs have Hellcat and Trackhawk in it?
All of them.
Right.
You see what I mean, dude? So it's that's what's being sold. It's I'll tell you another one, right, dude? Pantech Philippe ain't hood, but I bet you everybody in the hood wants one because it's something you know. I mean, you're going to glorify things that you like, right? I mean, I work for the things I want in life, the things I hear about, right?
Yeah.
I bought a Brightland because I heard about him, right? That's just how it goes.
Everybody want a rollie.
Everybody wants a rollie. Why?
Rollie.
But it's
Yeah.
come on, dude. When you saw the celebrities rocking it, that's what you can't call it a hood trophy because they got it. At the end of the day, you got to work hard for it, man. You got.
Well, I'm not saying they are hood trophies. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that's what it's perceived as. People look at it that way. When you have your Hellcat, it's still a pricey vehicle. It's not cheap
Right.
to own one.
So I'm gonna enjoy it. I'll enjoy my hood trophy.
I'm not knocking. I wasn't
Gimme.
knocking what you guys have. I was
I
just
got you.
saying,
Yeah.
like it was presented.
I'll rock
Actually,
mine.
Boosted Lucky said that. He mentioned it on the episode when I went to Texas. So, and I kind of do agree, right? Whatever we hear in music
Yeah.
and however it's
I mean,
marketed,
I love it.
Right. That's what kind of makes those things look that
And,
way.
and
So-
my license plate is Trackhawk. Ooh.
So that's
man.
funny because when I saw your name, I was like, all right.
And
let's
that
see
was
what-
because of trap speeds and quarter mile. Because for
Right.
the longest time,
But
I
it
was
has two meanings.
I was smashing that trap speed, and then when I went down south, and people were like, "Oh, you that trap hawk?" And I'm like, "No, like trap speed, drag
See what I
racing.
mean?
No, not me, bro. Like
You're not a trap.
wrong guy."
Yeah, so I mean, it's become a thing where it's cool to own one, but unfortunately, the wrong people get a hold of it.
Yeah.
And
course.
they do dumb shit. We see takeovers. It's a very popular car to get stolen as well. Do you guys know anything about that? Why it's a car that's easy to steal? I mean, I don't
Well-
want to give too much information to give anybody an idea.
Yeah, I mean,
I sold mine because of that. I had a Charger recently. I got rid of because I had a white Charger, which was actually the number one. The color white on top of it was the number one. I was like,
Damn.
I'm gonna come outside one day, my car will be gone. That's gonna piss me off.
I think they become easy to steal because of TikTok and all these places where they teach you how to do everything.
They show that?
Oh yeah.
You've seen this?
I didn't.
I've
but-
seen them. I've seen videos of guys stealing the Kias with like a USB drive. And,
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it's nuts, dude. It's all over the place. And then you see these. You know what gets me is it's kind of like you ever been on Facebook and seen the advertisements that pop up. I've seen advertisements pop up for like a device that reads the
Yeah.
codes on keys, and
Oh,
I'm
the
like,
key reader.
yo, this is just popping up on somebody. I mean,
Yeah.
back in the day they had the switch for the Glock. That was on Facebook for $20.
Jesus.
Yeah.
Marketplace is crazy.
I
It's
mean,
the
you
new
know,
Craigslist.
and you would just see it as an ad when you were scrolling your feed. Like, I mean, that's kind of what it is, you know. And if somebody wants it, they're gonna do what they gotta do to get it, man.
Yeah.
Is there anything you could do to prevent it from happening?
Yeah, there's all sorts of security stuff now that you can do with these.
Within the car, or just like with the keys?
It's things that need to be added. So there's like a system called IGLA.
And there's Revelco too.
Yeah, Revelco.
They still have that?
Yeah, the Revelco, they're awesome.
Is that like the special key?
Yeah, you got the little fob that you have to
dongle,
I
put
remember
in.
when that shit came out years ago for Hondas. Or it wasn't for Hondas, but that was one of the things that I saw
So
on the
they're
forums.
doing that now. They're making all sorts of like kill switch stuff for the fuel pumps. There's another security problem, with them, that you can lift the lever and roll the car away.
Yeah.
Which, it just puts the car in neutral basically. So now they make block off plates to block that off in the consoles and stuff like that. So there's ways to try to, I guess negate getting stuff stolen, but if someone wants it, someone's going to take it.
Damn.
Yeah.
Well, I'm glad that there are procedures and things.
Yeah,
like
no, there's a lot more. People are definitely like involved in trying to keep their stuff with these things now for sure. So Dodge even put out like an update to try to block the security system in it and stuff like that. But I would say most of this problem's on them for being, not putting enough security in the car to begin with.
Let's go back to the days of a key.
Yeah.
So you make the thieves actually have to like work for it,
So do you guys street race at all?
Me, no.
You guys have any people that do street race?
That
do.
man right there does.
Maybe we
So,
should tag him in.
Did you guys build his car?
We did, yeah. He was like the first real turbo Trackhawk that ever did something. There was like another person out there that had one before we did it, but it was never really fast. Is it Florida? Yeah. So it never really doing much. You know what I mean? Like they couldn't figure out the tuning, converter stuff, like make it leave. They're always fast from a roll, but they never were fast out the hole. So once we got all this stuff dialed in, we built our first kit on Adam's truck. And from there, at the start of this year, we went 8.7 right out the rip. Took the record immediately as soon as ACO opened. Basically held the record all year until the very end of the year. He was actually racing the person who took it. He basically, side by side was pretty cool to watch. So we got some competition, but same thing. That's actually a Whipple truck.
Okay.
But that vehicle is completely different than his. It's basically a tin can.
This dude is itching.
I'm gonna tag him in.
Let's let him.
I'm gonna get up.
Man.
But let me just end on one thing I gotta end on, and I'm getting out of here. I'm gonna tag him in. You had a comedian on your podcast
Yeah.
who made a very, very bold statement about I'll race any Hellcat from a roll and give him the hit. The Mopars aren't shit, this, that, and the other thing. And then he proceeded to say, the only thing that can mess with him are Vipers and Lambos. Wait. Vipers are a Mopar. Like a Viper is a Mopar. Like the guy's a comedian because he doesn't even know who makes the fucking car. So that's a very bold statement, and he'll be getting seen real soon.
Yeah.
Remember, he said he's going to do a roll with a hit. No problem.
Yeah, we got something for him.
Wait, you're like leaving?
Oh, he tagging him in.
Oh.
He tagging him in.
You can definitely come back in,
He tagging him in. He gotta address that.
Let's let him in because he's.
We got to address that gutted tin can Honda Civic that I.
Oh, okay.
We should, I guess, tag in Big Daddy. He called this guy White Chocolate.
Big Daddy
That's what-
White Chocolate.
White chocolate? Yeah, just move the mic closer to your
Right there?
your
Is that better?
face.
Yeah.
Let's say some pause.
So White Chocolate.
Let me read
So we
that
got-
statement. I got beat by a Honda Civic tin can
Yeah.
Trackhawk. I had to get that back in there.
Oh.
So sorry about that.
Okay. So
But if you're talking about street racing scene, Trackhawk stuff, like I said, I don't street race personally. I don't really have an interest in it, but
That would be me.
Adam does.
you told me earlier that you were the one that ran Kaiju.
Correct.
Yeah.
Right. I wasn't there for that, but I did hear about this.
I have
this-
a lot of respect for him. I actually like him. I like him a lot.
Yeah,
So,
Kaiju's
he's cool. I
He's
talk to
funny.
him all the time.
But back to that. You said he did a side by side pass with the Trackhawk that took the record. Could you tell us a little bit more about that race?
To clarify, from we
By
went
the way,
out,
what is the new record now?
858
858. Yeah, we
with
went.
163. Or,
And then we went Jimmy's 859.
Yeah.
On paper, and then he's got some other stuff that he doesn't want us to talk about. But
yeah.
This is all on paper though.
yeah,
All time slips.
Yeah. So it would go right now as of March until, was that just last month when that happened?
October. Yeah.
I held it for about 8 months.
People gunning for it like literally every
people-
weekend.
Yeah.
We're
Everyone
talking
that-
like big nitrous shots, like gutted trucks. Yeah.
Yeah, everyone.
I think probably made people spend billions of dollars trying to chase it.
Yeah, I mean,
between blown motors.
Everyone gave
Stimulated
us
the
all this
Hellcat,
shit.
the
Yeah.
Trackhawk economy.
Yeah,
yeah,
exactly.
they gave us all this shit. Oh, grease this, grease that. We, obviously we have comp turbos, pump grease into them. We got the biggest shit for that.
Yeah.
And push come to shove, we got the record for 8 months, and then everyone wanted to be.
So what
turbo all of a
happened?
sudden. So as far as the
You losing a record. What happened?
we went to Modern Hemi Shootout at MIR, and we had Mel Varon there, who's with RSP, guy James. We have internet clout back and forth. We go back and forth. I'd say we're somewhat okay. We talk to each other in here and there, but we give ourselves friendly fire back and forth.
Yeah.
Kind of ammo going back.
Yeah,
and
without
forth.
doing that kind of stuff, you're never
Yeah.
going to push these platforms.
Yeah,
So
it's fun. But saw James there. I was really big on having the driver and the owner of the car race his own truck. I'm not about, I'm really particular.
Yeah, because
about
James
that.
is always street racing it for him.
James
basically,
is
in
street racing
Maryland,
customers' cars that aren't his, and claims that his, and there is no his.
Who's James?
James Wall with RSP.
Yeah, owner of a different shop in Maryland.
Okay.
RSP
Yeah.
shop. Yeah, but I'm real big on actually racing your own car that you build. So that's
So what happened?
he actually, the guy Mel, it was like 3 or 4 passes prior that I was watching them there, and it was the funniest thing I ever seen. Yeah, it looked like a kangaroo going down the track, and
Yeah,
I
it was
made all
bad.
these.
Yeah.
I made a bunch of funny videos, but all kinds of different. Almost took his car out on a wall, or took the Jeep out on a wall. So that's what I was witnessing. They went back to the little lab. They were a couple rows down from us there in the pit. In the
Basically
lanes.
stripping the car down
Yeah, in the
and
pits.
literally just taking parts off
Just
of it.
exhaust laying on the ground, trying to strip weight, trying to do anything they can to get that record.
Yeah.
But then we were in the lanes, and we were doing like I think we were doing test passes or something like that. He said, "Hey, you want to throw it for you want to run me?" I said, "Yeah, I do," because I watched all them goofy passes, and I was like, "Oh, I got this in the bag." I consistently ran 860 over and over again. I have 4 slips in a row at 860, and when I went to run them, real big about Mel driving the car. Mel got in the car. I was like, all right, at this point, I'll line it up. How about $1,000? We just did something light, just friendly back and forth. And when Mel took off at the light there, or at the tree, he did like a test burnout, went past the tree, messed up the lighting system. And what happened was when he left, my light never went off, so I left. It looked like I was sleeping. I really wasn't. He did get a record on that pass, though. He did succeed with the record, so props to him for that.
Yep.
But after that, I didn't see the truck run. I think that was it for the truck. I never saw it.
And that
after
truck's going turbo now, too.
Yeah.
And you were saying that he took weight out of it. So
wait,
how does it compare to your truck?
Oh, I'm just missing my seats. I have my seats out of the truck. I have a lighter. Actually, I didn't. Did I have my stock seats in at the time?
No, you all you had was
Stock front seat.
passenger seat and the rear seat removed. But
Yeah.
driver's seat
Just
and
a
then
seat
the rest
delete.
Basically,
And what
take
does
the
he
seats
have?
out, full exhaust.
Oh
like-
man, I mean, you look from the back. Well, you looking at the truck, it's like, oh, okay, this is all nice until you pop the hatch and then you see
There's nothing in it.
Oh wait, there's
Yeah.
no fuel tank. There's no exhaust. There's no seats. There's no door panels. There's no center console. I mean, you can see wires
Yeah.
all the way to the front, man. I don't know. It's just
So how would you compare weight of your truck to that truck?
400 pounds more.
yeah, 400 pounds.
You're
more,
about
something
400
like-
pounds
yeah.
more.
Yeah.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, I don't know, man. I just
Now you know the racers out here is going to say you
Yeah, it
making
doesn't matter.
excuses.
not
And a
excuses,
win-
man. I
and a-
mean,
and
no,
a win
no,
is a win.
Listen,
And that's what they're gonna say.
mine's still running. So
Dang.
hate to say that. I mean, I'm the OG twin turbo Hawk, still going, still the OG motor in there, never pulled out. Mine's still going. There's been multiple people trying to reproduce what we're doing, multiple setups, and still can't compete. James got one glory. Well, Mel got one glory pass in his car.
Yeah. Like I
And
said,
that
I
was it. And one,
don't take anything away from him for doing
I
it.
can't.
Yeah,
I
you
can't. It was a
so-
glory pass, but it never reproduced that pass. Mine can reproduce that pass every
Yeah.
single time. So to me, it's just we're built different, I would say.
Right after that pass, James was saying stupid stuff to our tuner. I remember online.
Yeah.
So he sends us over a file, and he's like, just load this in this. Go load this in the Durango. So he loaded in the
Mine
Durango.
broke, so we couldn't upload.
Yeah, he broke the axle stub or whatever. So he's like, just go load this file in the Durango. I'm tired of this guy talking shit. So he loads it in the Durango, and we go 8.4, which is faster than the world's fastest Trackhawk. And a
By our own
Durango
team.
the Durango's 300 pounds heavier than a Trackhawk to begin with.
Damn.
So this truck, 5,500 pounds with the seats out,
840s.
840.
Right.
So we have the fastest all-wheel drive, period. Mopar stuff.
Mopar stuff.
And then
period.
that's this truck, yeah.
TRX.
The
Durango.
TRXs, like I said, both TRXs. And then
Trackhawk will be back.
Trackhawk within a 100th on paper. It's been faster on the street.
That's Jimmy's in mine.
Yeah.
Who's this? There's an Asian guy that was mentioned before. Who's got the fastest Hellcat, I believe.
Zedong Ho.
Yeah, is he still up there?
Yeah, he's a tuner.
He's a
Very nice
tuner.
guy. Yeah,
Okay.
he's a tuner. Does a great job. He tunes his own car, and then he obviously tunes all other people's cars as well. He's got a pretty big tuning business now. Very accredited guy. A lot of people go to him. But he's always had a fast charger. Like back in the day, it was me and him back and forth. Like
Yeah,
this is way back. We were both basically running the same times way back in the day.
and
And then
now
he
he's-
continued to just go crazy with his car, So
because most people who don't really know much about the platform, they look at that. It's
yeah,
like, oh wow.
he's not the fastest though, Hellcat.
Oh, he's not.
No.
No.
Okay.
So there are Hellcats out there that run like deep fours in the eighth mile, like mid sixes in the quarter. There's two of them. There's one, the Eplings is like a father and son team. They're in the sixes. And then there's another one called Grumpy Cat. So Kevin Helmick, his car runs 660s.
What kind of car? How are they set up though?
It's a Hellcat, basically like a Pro Mod.
Pro mod. Okay.
Yeah, but it's, still Hellcat VIN. Started with a Hellcat,
Right.
but 6-second cars, like over 200 in the quarter.
So
Running Hellcat power plants.
So that leads me to my next question, because I heard yesterday that what was it we spoke about earlier? The fastest cars, like the faster cars at the track, like the top fuel cars.
Yeah. So exactly, you
Right.
were mentioning about cars
Somebody mentioned that those run Hemis. No, is that true?
Oh, like the real dragsters? Yeah.
Yeah, the dragsters. So those are Hemi.
They're Hemi. Screw-blown Hemis, yeah.
If those cars are like the fastest, right? How does that like?
I'm sorry, I gotta let it out. I was trying to hold it in. Oh my God.
Whoa, what are you guys doing over here?
Oh God.
Was this planned?
Bro, a bunch of 8-second time slips with Trackhawks. They're giving out to all the other shops that can't do shit.
I love it, dude.
Damn, I forgot my Santa hat. Okay, this is cool. This is interesting.
That's sanity right there.
Threw me off. You're gonna sit
We're
again,
actually
right?
gonna give out
Okay.
we're gonna give out some gifts to some shops tonight and put them in their
If
stockings.
that's cool.
Okay.
If you're
Yeah,
cool
that's
with
cool.
it.
That's cool.
Yeah, we got a bunch of them.
So what you're
So-
saying is you got some call outs.
I'm not call outs, just gifts for
I do.
some haters. He's got some call outs.
I do.
So does any of that stuff trickle down to like the more consumer?
It does.
Platform?
So like the engine block, basically the engine that's run in Kevin Helmick's car.
Okay.
It's made by a company named Noonan Engineering.
Okay.
So it's a billet block. So it's aluminum, it's completely different than the stock engine. Same architecture, but the engine is basically set up as a race engine. And we have a customer, Derek, who has that motor and a Trackhawk that's here. So we're putting that together right now. Twin 80 millimeter turbos, pure stage 3 trans, Motec, a lot of things that other people don't have. That's going to
Yeah.
be the world's first 7-second Trackhawk, without a doubt. It's got a 9-inch rear in it. And that one, with that motor, which weighs 100
It's a
pounds
killer
lighter,
setup.
I mean, that's going to be stupid truck.
Is that the only one with a Motec, or most of those cars are running Motec at the track?
No, so we don't have anything else technically right now that's Motec besides that.
Damn, that's dope.
Yeah.
And it's here.
Yeah.
Wow. So I'm in the right spot for this.
I mean,
Because I see a lot of other Hellcat talk
Yeah.
or content, but
Yep.
this is like where this
Yeah,
is where it's at.
our tuner, Jared, he's a super smart guy.
Genius.
So he's the one who figured out how to basically do everything that everybody's doing now, turbo-wise.
Yeah.
Hellcat. People have got his maps from other cars and stuff like that. These
so
cars
you're
you can't lock
referring to the
computer.
4-wheel drive stuff, right?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Because we're going to talk about the car stuff. Your boy was early.
Oh yeah,
I was early, super
Yep.
early.
yeah. No, we're talking about Trackhawks, which is
Okay, cool,
completely
cool.
different to make these things actually work. But yeah, so he is. That's going to be a very fast truck. That's fuel cell in it. I mean, like I said, 4,600 to 4,700 pounds. I would say that truck is going to go 7s pretty early on
Yeah.
once we start racing it, and then we'll see how fast it goes from there. But we kept it all-wheel drive for now, which is kind of cool too. So.
What's the timeline for that? Like, when is it? When's that?
The truck has probably got another 2 or 3 months to get finalized. It'll be out in the spring.
Dope.
As soon as the track opens around here, we'll have it out.
How are you so confident to say that a vehicle that heavy is going to go 7s?
Just based on all the data we have from everything else. I mean, that truck, the way it's spec'd, will make 22 to 2400 wheel. This truck makes right around 1700 wheel, and it goes 8.4, and it weighs about 1,000 pounds more
Would you say that your Trackhawk is similar power
to this truck.
To this Durango here.
to this Durango?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's 1700,
Yeah.
somewhere around there, Mark.
Yeah, I just wanted to chime back real quick to get my record back. I had a couple issues when I went back.
We've been breaking a
dumb
lot of
issues.
axles.
Yeah, axles mainly. Had a couple axle issues, but I tried to reclaim my record before obviously the track closed down. I've been going at it for the last 3 weeks and had an axle issue almost every single time.
Yeah.
But we got that taken care of. I will get my record back.
Yeah.
I'm telling you now.
Once we
It will be back.
so-
The truck wasn't even on full power when we ran it at the 862. So
his 862
How much power would you
pass-
say that was?
80%.
Yeah.
So right around 1500?
I would say like 1450, 1500. Yeah.
Somewhere around there.
Yeah.
Now, is 1500 in these cars feel like anybody could just drive it, or is it like
No.
Okay,
It's pretty terrifying.
is it?
Yeah.
We went to that Pocono event, right? First time of me getting in it.
Shout out to Race Motive.
Yeah.
Race motive, you know. I get out there, and they turn the truck up for me. All right, we're going to turn it up. Your first pass was 20%.
We let them go
right?
on a wastegate.
I'm
first.
like, all right, hit the 20%. I'm like, yeah, they turn it to 50. I'm like, okay. So, all right, we're going to send it full 80. You ready? I'm like, yeah, whatever. I get in it, man.
Dude.
So I
You
come
have
back.
an e-boost too in your car? It doesn't do much until
No.
50.
That's correct.
And then after 50, it starts creeping up quick.
I come back, and I'm ghost white. They're
Oh,
like,
yeah.
you all right? I was shaking. I was like, oh,
You know what's
No
funny?
way.
Yeah,
yeah,
that's the
dude, I
first- we
needed
took
like
the race
sugar. I
motor
was like, dude,
record
I
with
need
his.
some
That's when
candy
we-
to get my blood sugar up. It scared the shit out of me.
I think you got scared and let out on that one because I think you were racing my boy with a 720.
Yeah, I was.
Yeah.
I was
so
right
that's
next
my
to him.
that's my buddy.
He got
Anez.
out a couple times.
I
that
let
day.
out for that damn corner. I don't like that corner. Going
Yeah,
into
so
there
that's my
at
buddy
all.
Anez, and he had a camera pointed at you,
Yeah,
and he asked me personally. He said, "What is in that truck?" Because
that
he
was
took
the
he took
720
off.
was with 50.
He took off, and you were reeling him, and then you just see you let off. So
Yeah.
I thought maybe you hit a boost
So,
cut or something.
I raced a Corvette. It was a ZR1 next to, or Z06 next to me.
Yeah.
I actually hit it. I'm on his TikTok. The actual record pass, like at the time, 173, whatever
Yeah.
it was, that was next to a Corvette. The 720 was only on 50% when I did that. So yeah, I definitely scared.
Your
the hell out of
Trackhawk, that was only at the car at when you raced the 720. You were
50%.
only at a 50%.
50%. That was
power
the second
setting.
pass. Yeah, 720 was next to me at that one. The Corvette's the one I did the 80%.
50% in that truck is probably 1150, 1200 wheel.
I just think, they're like giant cubes when you go into that corner. That's why. They're just not aerodynamic at
No.
all. They're just,
It's hard to stop there,
Dude,
in that thing.
yeah.
And as soon as you pass the bleachers, if it's windy, these things are not aerodynamic. They got a lot more mass to
just-
them. You get blown sideways
Yeah.
pretty bad. So
So what I want to know is why people don't ever turn it up to like 100%. Everybody always does that. They always say like, oh, it's 50%, 80%. We didn't even turn it up. Oh, we ran off wastegate only.
I think that's a lot of like,
figuring it out,
yeah. I mean,
what it runs its best at.
Okay.
we also want to like, so we have like scramble
Slowly.
buttons and stuff in these things.
Oh, you do?
Yeah. So
I
like,
didn't even know they still use those.
yeah. So it's just built into the boost controller that
Okay.
we're using for a lot of these. But like, depending on like the elevation stuff you're running at, it'll make a little bit different boost. So we'll basically run it at like, 70 to 80% at sea level, and then Pocono's like much taller, much higher elevation. So you can run it higher. I think we were actually at 90% in your truck there. We turned it down at ATCO.
Yeah, something like
Well,
that.
yeah, pretty sure it was. But regardless.
You did turn it up the night. You said, we're taking this record. We're taking this record. And then you said, turn it up. And I'm like, no, don't turn it up. I'm trying to protect my motor. It's to answer your question, protect the motor.
Protect
man.
the motor.
Yeah.
Slowly dial it in, see where the sweet spot
That's
is.
like, we basically in his truck, 100%, 90% is like 30, 32 pounds.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a lot.
That's a lot in the V8. I know to smaller motor guys, 30 pounds of boost doesn't sound like a lot, but when you have
On a big
what
motor like
size
that,
engine?
it's 428. So 428 at 30 pounds.
Jesus, that is
428,
over.
what does
That's
that convert
over
to?
7 litars. It's like
Over-
7 point.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm
we're
not-
basically over 7 liters. Yeah,
7 liters.
yeah.
Damn, I'm at a little 3.0.
Yeah, these things, like if we put these power plants the way they're set
That's
up now,
big. That's a big motor.
put these power plants in a lighter car, stupid. Like if you put it in like a Mustang or something like that that's set up nice,
Yeah.
You had
with the twin turbos like this, you're talking about an easy 6-second car.
How do you get that traction to the ground though? You probably
Just-
can't.
Well, that's going to be all like,
burnout machine.
based on like the engine management and traction control.
Right.
All those like standalone things have
You-
traction control built
You
into
brought
them
up
now.
earlier, like they're slapping these Hellcats and everything. I mean, they had Cletus slap one in a golf cart.
Yeah.
I don't know if you
Yeah,
saw
so,
that, but
yeah.
Yeah.
they're literally slapping them and everything. It's a burnout machine without the turbo setup, but it's just crazy to me.
Yeah, I would love to see these motors get swapped out into different. It'd be cool to see. I just think that with how they're looked at, I don't know if people would
Oh, I don't know.
You know?
I think they're catching on. So
What do you mean? How they're looked at?
like people. Everyone always just talk shit about Hellcats, and
I think that's
it's
just
what it is.
They
I don't know. I
probably-
think that's like a recent fad, to be completely honest.
You know, it's right now. That's
Yeah,
what it is.
it seems like what
when
it
it
is,
comes to
yeah.
the top people that they're claiming that are.
I
top
would
people,
say the people that are like talking all the shit need to go and race like a built Hellcat in the quarter mile, like actually at the track, not like on the street or anything like that. Line up with somebody who even like Boosted Lucky, that guy's gonna smoke people at the track. It's
Dude,
just
you
this
see
is
the
how it's
wheelie he
gonna be.
did? I mean, I'm sure that's normal for you to see, or you guys, I don't know. But he
But
did that
even
crazy-
like it's a huge wheel. But like even these new Demon 170s, they
Yeah.
pull the wheels like crazy stock. You know, it's basically an 8-second car out the box. You know, so if you can get one for MSRP, they're about $100,000, which is to go 8s is considered a bargain in these days.
Does that go against anything you guys are doing though? Because you guys are a performance shop, right? So I mean,
I'm fine with it because if the platform can go that fast
yeah,
from the factory with a warranty, you know there's a ton left on the table. And you could just tell by like us going through the motor and the parts and stuff like that they come with on these cars.
yeah.
There's a lot left, just even by the pulley combo.
Do you guys think that Boosted Lucky is going to beat Dan Rue in the race?
In a roll race,
That's what he wants. That's what he
Is he
wants.
giving him the hit?
I think he
It
said.
just-
That's what he said.
It
yeah.
depends on. I would say it's going to depend on where he races them. If he does a roll on a prep track,
Santa wants in.
I,
He wants to. He wants to say. I'm sorry.
I mean, we
didn't
can
mean to
trade
cut you
out, man. Whenever you're ready, bud.
off. Wait.
all right. Let's let Santa back in.
Do you have anything you want to say before you? Anybody you said you wanted to call some people out. So
Any Trackhawk in the country, period. Big claim. But
I'm down with
I'm
that.
with it. Any Trackhawk that wants it anywhere, United States,
Heads up.
Australia, if they even make
heads
them
up.
there.
Heads up.
From roll.
Heads up at the track. Not doing no street crap.
Yeah.
No street. No street.
I'm kind of over it, man. It's just people paying on the street. It's a problem all the time. Like every time, make up some excuse. You crossed. You did this. Guy was. I thought one of the cell phone lights was the flashlight. I mean, it just doesn't end. Endless excuses. I've probably been in 20 street races, and it's always something.
Always.
Even what are you talking about? What's it? What do you say? His name Kaiju or
Yeah.
Kaiju.
Kaiju? He was like, "Hey, man. Even though thank God I won because we would have had to rerun that. You burned me down at the line." I'm like, what? Like, so hold on a second. I paid him anyway. I lost. An L's an L. I'll take it. And,
Yeah.
I pay my
That was
GTRs
a
when I
great
lose,
race.
by the way. When I lose the GTRs, I pay them. I'm not saying any
Shots.
names, but,
Shots.
I actually pay him and do what I say I'm going to do. But, no, he, we would have had to rerun that. You burned me down, this and that. And I'm just looking at him like, oh my God. Like, so I was literally trapped in paying him regardless. So thank God he won because it would have been bad. But
Yeah.
it's just always something, man. Every time on a street race, every single time. There's never, maybe out of 20 plus street races I've been in, there's been like 2 or 3 that are just clean, clear, and that's it.
Damn. So out of 20 races, only 2 or 3 of them have
Clear.
been fair.
Yeah. Or you win and something happened, or they break. I had a guy from Virginia come with a gutted Honda Civic, all motor Civic. Forget his name right now, but respect to him. Clean, clear, paid, was gone. Thank you for the race. It was awesome. I don't know if you guys remember the guy named Dew from Philly or whatnot. He had a Charger. He got online. Someone posted up like, "Hey, races, God, like 2021, something like that."
This is a long time ago.
Yeah, anyone want to race this Hellcat? He'll come down from Philly, run for whatever. Come down, clean, clear. Obviously, those Chargers at the line in cold weather, they're no good. So I took the race, beat him, clean, clear, shook his hand, walked away. It was it. Actually, I think I inspired him to get a Trackhawk after that.
Yeah, he did.
Then we had
Really?
and we had some hype after that. But I think since then he's gotten rid of the Trackhawk. But he was a clean race. But it's sad that I can only count a couple.
No, it really is, man.
I raced what was that, a ZR1? What was that football player? I'm not going to say his name, but I raced a football player from the Eagles. Okay? We're not going to say
that
his
really
name.
narrows it down.
I probably met him. Well, how long ago was this?
2 years ago. I was
I
pretty
probably
big
met
into
him.
it then.
Yeah,
But,
I probably know who you're talking about.
well, first race, went to leave the line. There was an issue with the line. We relined it up, turned back down the quarter mile. He comes back down. I rerun him. I burn a hole in him, man. I mean, just straight up burn a hole. And he goes, well, because we didn't leave on the first race, I'm not paying you on this. This is a pro football player. I'm like, come on, man. Jeez. That was like a $6,000 pot, something like that. And I finally just got to the point. We're all arguing in a parking lot. I got to a point. I'm like, all right, I'm out. Like I'm done with it. I don't care. I'm going home. 3 o'clock in the morning, I'm arguing over a pot. So I'd much rather now, and he's been talking to me about it for years. Like I'd much rather just go to a track now and just settle it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a lot more clean, clear.
Yeah.
It's a street racing scene. It's just.
I mean, as like a shop owner,
It's
we don't get involved. It's just a bad look.
for. Yeah.
I think just in general for shop owners.
He'd
to
be on me for
street
years
racing,
about
but-
it. Like,
I mean,
take it to a track. I'm with him now. I mean, I could probably agree with that.
And we're at the level now with a lot of these things that,
They're just, it's
I mean,
8-second cars.
they're not meant to go this fast, like chassis wise.
yeah.
They're just too big of a vehicle. Stopping becomes a problem.
Sounds risky on
People
the streets.
don't realize like trying to slow this thing down after you just went 165 in the quarter. You need space.
Right.
Like have you've been to Island before?
I have
In Jersey,
not.
no.
Actually, I think so.
So it's a pretty
for what,
like short shutdown there. If you try to stop one of these things after a pass there, you have to have a parachute and you need to literally stand on the brakes, downshift, put the windows down to get it to stop.
The windows down.
Yeah, it's not gonna stop. Yeah, you have to.
Damn.
Otherwise, you're gonna run into problems. But that's kind of how fast we are with these things now. So it's pretty cool.
It'd wrap it up to get Santa Claus in here real quick. I'll make a quick, bold statement, then I'll chime out.
Go ahead.
I would say any Trackhawk in the country that wants it, from the OG twin turbo Hawk, still running, can get it. Doesn't matter which one it is. Doesn't matter who it is. I don't care.
I'm
We can
down
take it
with
to a
that.
track. We can settle it. We can turn the truck up and have some fun. So, ready to put it to its limits and test it.
Sounds like you got
I'm
sounds
gonna
like you know it.
I'm gonna get my record back. I mean, was that 3/1000ths of a second from a gutted tin can. But yeah, other than that, that's it for me.
You said a lot of things that are good for people to hear, honestly, especially for the street racing.
100%.
So I agree with everything you said. It's definitely changed by far. From
More to say, and then when you're in the spotlight, you forget. You know what I mean? I had so much more to say. When you leave, I'll have more to say.
Let's give it up for white chocolate.
Get Santa in here real quick.
We got gifts.
I don't need my belt.
You got the stockings?
It's for my other job. It's Salvation Army.
Do we need the stockings?
Like my bag of gifts. Do I look cool or what? I think I'm a pretty good Santa, huh?
Very.
We're good?
I think we should start giving out gifts, dude.
So hold on, though. We were talking about street racing.
Okay.
I don't street race. Reason being, too much to lose. I got my own reasons. But hold on. I used to.
Santa's on the street.
I used to.
Santa don't
But
street
what I
race,
will
got
tell
it.
you is this scene up here, like Adam was saying, how nobody pays.
Yeah.
It's a joke. If street racing everywhere was like the pad in Louisiana, I would like it. I would like
You
it.
would street race.
There's no stipulations. There's no bullshit.
Wait, there's no steps.
Oh, no. You
No?
go talk to BJ who runs the light and say, oh, I need a car in the hit. He's going to tell you to get the f- off his line because he's got 30 runs to deal with and you're wasting his time. It's heads up. You hand the money over. There's no trying to get 30 people to get together your $5,000 pot. There's none of that. It's the money's in his hand or you're not even coming to the line. He's the light man. You run down the strip. And listen, it's hard to condone something that's technically illegal, but that is run better than most racetracks.
I have a question. As a person who doesn't street race, don't know about, the streets, not for a long time at least, there's a lot of people street racing. There's a lot of talking happening. Majority of the cars that you see street racing in the New York area, New York, New Jersey. Are those cars fast?
In the grand scheme of things, no.
Yeah, well, some are fast, right? Like I've seen that guy Kaiju's car is pretty fast. You know what I
I'm
mean?
just
Like,
saying the grand. But
But
you watch
most of
some of them are just.
the grand scheme of things, no. I don't think so.
Dude, I've never once seen any like in the past 5 years somebody just going, I just want a heads up race. I think I watched a race with Tyler No Boost, and I think it was against that guy One Stock with the Supra. He literally made him give him, like, I could be wrong, but it was very close to like a 2-car head start and the hit, and then Tyler had to beat him by an entire car to call it a win, and Tyler only beat him by half a car, and I guess he lost. And I'm like, well, what is this? Like, you know, why don't you just start at the finish line, punch me in the balls, and I'll give you the money? It's the same outcome. Like, it's not even a race anymore. I don't really understand that. You know, I got to touch on the comedian again. Because that guy's never been to a racetrack.
Santa's got something to say.
I'm listening, man. I'm all ears.
He's never been to a racetrack, right?
Yeah.
Make him.
I don't know personally, but I'm not really sure.
He's from Louisiana. Why doesn't he set up his race down at the pad?
I think it's because his car is in Houston at the shop.
It's
I mean,
like a 5-hour ride, dude.
I don't know.
It's not a bad trailer.
We had that conversation before. If your car is in Texas, are you considered a Texas car?
My car could go anywhere. It has wheels.
Right, but are you representing for?
No, it's where you're from. It's where
Right.
you're from, right?
I guess it's definitely where you live.
Where's Santa
Yeah.
from?
What is that?
Where's Santa
Santa
from?
From the North motherfucking pole. We got the best DA up there. You know what I'm saying? That's how we get down. I got Rudolph all primed up. He's ready to roll. You guys ready for some presents for some local
I'm curious.
shops?
I'm curious to see
Yeah,
what you
what's
got.
going
got a
on,
bag.
Santa? What you got?
I got a whole lot of guys. You know, I'm being generous this year because they should be on the naughty list. But I'm being nice and getting them a present. So let's bear with me here. I got this bag. It's relatively new. But let's see who we have on the list here. So, we'll save him. Let's get this guy. He's good for first. We have a nice one for FSP.
Yeah, FSP, yeah.
Who is that?
Who's FSP? You gotta give a
What is that? Florida?
Florida Speed Performance.
Yeah.
Florida
So-
Speed Performance. Okay.
So what he got is he got blueprints to a twin turbo kit that doesn't catch fire. Yeah, that's his present. It's good, Mitch.
You guys are going hard.
Mitch, you're gonna like that. Oh, we got a.
RSP.
Oh, that's
You want to give him this?
Pull this one, please.
This is
Pull
for
this
little.
one.
This is for little Jimmy.
Let me pull this one.
Here, go ahead. Here.
Pull this one.
Let me read what,
Read what that says there, Adam.
what does that say there?
It's a gift certificate for a built engine.
Yes, because he keeps blowing them shits up. So. Little Jimmy.
Ho ho, mother.
Little Jimmy, you got my friend over here with the podcast. I'm sure he could teach you something on editing. When you go do a fucking pull in a customer's car and you spill your cookies, you might want to cut that off at the end. Yeah, in a customer's car.
What else we got?
You good?
Bailey's?
That's Bailey's, yeah, that's a good one.
Oh no, I gotta leave. I gotta leave.
Bailey's.
To the duck call?
Bailey's, this one, I put a lot of effort into it. Comb your beard, motherfucker, because you're on the naughty list because you be lying too much saying that you got the fastest TRXs and shit, and you know we're on the list. So go comb your beard because I don't want to hear that shit.
What about
Santa.
the Cabela's gift card?
Santa.
Oh, yeah,
Duck call.
he got a Cabela's gift card, though. We did.
Santa,
For the
you're going
youngest
too
brother
hard,
of
Santa.
Duck Dynasty. Do
You want
you want to do this
save
one?
him to the end. Let's save him to the end.
Oh, who else I got in here?
Ain't no Hondas in there?
No, these are all
These are
Mopar
all
guys.
Mopar
Alright.
shops.
Oh, good old
What do you got for him?
Timmy Barth.
Tim Barth, what do we have for him?
Timmy. I got you an incognito, bud.
Oh, what you always wanted.
You always wanted one. I got you an incognito. You know, they don't work. But hold on. I got something else, though. We can't forget about this guy. Where's he at in here?
Who do we got? Oh, boy.
So, Fast Motorsports, I think you were making the incognito knockoff. The Predator.
Predator, yeah.
Predator pulley.
3 years later.
I wanted to give you an idler, an adjustable idler for a Whipple, because I figured that'd be the next thing you could fucking knock off, you hack. Merry Christmas, bud. And we're left with Dickie Duster.
Dusterhoff, yeah. What else you got?
Dusterhoff. So
Let me see.
you're going to have a hard time reading that, but. You're going to have a hard time reading that, but. You're going to have a hard time reading that, but. You're going to have a hard time reading that, but. You're going to have a hard time reading that, but. You're going to have a hard time reading that, but. You're going to have a hard time reading that, but. You're going to have a hard time reading that, but. You're going to have a hard time reading that, but. You're going to have a hard time reading that, but. You're going to have a hard time reading that, but. You're going to have a hard time reading that, but. You're going to have a hard time reading that, but. You're going to have a hard time reading that, but. You're going to have a hard time reading that, but. You're going to have a hard time reading that, but. You're going to have a hard time reading that, but. You're going to have a hard time reading that, but. You're going to have a hard time reading that, but. You're going to have a hard time reading that, but. You're going to have a hard time reading that, but. You're going to have a hard time reading that, but. You're
Oh, you suck. What's the rest of it?
But your dog was cool, so he's getting a chew toy.
That's true.
All right,
His
that's
dog
it.
was
That's
cool.
about it. So, Dickie Duster, you suck, but your dog was really fucking
I think
awesome.
you also there was a keyboard in there for James, and it had the Control C and Control V.
Oh, yeah, the
only keys on it.
Copy and
Copy and
paste.
paste,
Yeah, that
yeah.
was for James, but
Oh,
All right. So
yeah, I'm done on the presents.
we need a little context here. Running back through Santa's list, who is Duster Hoff, and why does he suck?
You want to go with it? Because you know if I start going,
I mean, we had a good conversation about this earlier, but yeah, we could chat about that for sure.
Who was Duster Hoff, and why does he suck?
Duster Hoff was a tuner that we used to use, separate from us, but he did all our tuning. We were both kind of coming up at the same time, I would say.
Okay.
Both had like startup businesses right around the same time. He used to be our tuner, and he simply couldn't keep up with the workload, and we were getting to the point where we were doing builds that he physically couldn't tune at that point. So everybody thinks there's this huge falling out between us at that point, and it simply comes down to the fact that we basically fired him because he couldn't handle what we were trying to do. He couldn't tune a car that cammed, larger throttle body. We had cars he was trying to physically tune here in person. He couldn't do it at the time. Now, I'm sure he could do it now. This is years later, but at the time, there was this big drama thing about this, and we physically had to find somebody else. So that's the story behind that.
Okay.
Who's Bailey's, and why?
Yeah, I like the guy. I actually like him.
Bailey's.
I actually like the guy. He owns Bailey's High Performance,
Okay.
and he just makes all these videos. He's good. He's got a good little marketing going with him, but he always says some outlandish shit.
Like what?
So, for instance, he had this video where he took their Trackhawk. They have that guy Tyler, who was the first one in the 8s. Well, they had his Trackhawk at the shop because now that his record's gone, they got to get it back. So they're at the shop, and here's Bailey. All these people with their twin turbos, that's all bullshit, da-da-da.
And then you go on Instagram last week and you look on it, and he's putting twin turbos on his Jeep now.
Yeah, so there's that, and then he sits there and he's like, we're gonna show this thing what we could do right now with some nitrous because nitrous is king and da da da. And you notice the video is like daylight, and then the video is like nighttime,
And then the video's like winter,
yeah, and then it's like winter, and there's still no time slip of it going faster.
and then the video's like 2 years later.
Then he makes videos about, we have the biggest and baddest TRXs on the planet. We make the fastest Mopars in the world. And I'm like, you're not even on a list, dude. Like, you don't even have a TRX that's gone anywhere. Like, I don't get it. So we have this
It's more of a marketing thing, but you can't hate
Yeah.
on the guy for trying to get
Yeah.
business.
Hey, it
So
is what
I'm
it
a
is. I
balanced
actually
person.
like him. I actually like the guy.
I'm a balanced person. I know Bailey's because my good buddy Demonology.
Yeah.
They
he goes there. Yeah.
They work on his car.
Yeah.
I've personally spoke to Chris. Chris is a good dude.
He's a really nice guy. He really is. I like him, but I got to mess with him. I got to. When you
he
lie.
says the world's fastest Trackhawk, so it's kind of like if you win a Grammy, right? Or if you're ever nominated for a Grammy. For the rest of your life as an actor, are you not a Grammy nominee? So did he ever have the world's fastest Trackhawk?
Well, they don't give out Grammys when you got a fast Trackhawk.
But the question was, did he ever have the world's fastest Trackhawk?
Oh, he absolutely did.
Yes, but you're not anymore.
But
And you're saying that he doesn't say that part.
So how many World Series did the Yankees win?
So here's
A bunch, but they didn't win last year, so they're not the World Series champions. It's just how it works. Let's be real here, dude. That's just how it works.
It's just kind of like two different sides to the thing. Like if we went on there right now and said we have the world's fastest Trackhawk, but it got beat, we will never hear the end of it.
Oh yeah,
It's just how it is.
35 people go, oh, so-and-so went 3/1000ths of a second faster than you.
Okay.
I'll have like people
Fair enough.
texting me at 2 o'clock in the morning.
It's respect, and you know what it is.
Yeah, you
It
know
all
what I
comes
mean?
down to, like I said, congratulations when you did it, bud.
Yeah.
And when I did, you go, your shit sucks. Church mice.
So you
Everybody's a
said your
cricket.
car sucks.
No, not him personally, but everybody did. So
just in
that
general,
I got
yeah.
to make sure I give that back.
All right, cool.
Right.
Who is Barth?
Oh, Timmy Barth. Him and Steve go way back.
Tim used to tune my car a long time ago. And we were friendly for years, honestly. And then one day, I guess he didn't like me anymore. I don't know. Saw me getting too successful. He stopped tuning for us a while ago. Kind of the same thing. We grow out of these tuners as a shop. Basically, we have someone else tune as a professional. I don't have time to physically tune here. Like people say, oh, Ripa doesn't tune.
Mm-hmm.
I just laugh because I literally hire a professional to do it while I run a business. You know what I mean? I'm physically driving the car. I'm telling the corrections that I think should be made based on driving it. We go back and forth. Can I tune a car? Absolutely. Do I tune my own car? Yes. Do I care? No. Like I rather run a good business and hire a professional to do it personally. I think it's the right way. Like same thing as buying an engine. You get it from someone who builds engines. You're not going to sit here and say, oh, we're building all our engines in-house.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I don't think any shop really is doing that, but it's the same thing. So Tim, yeah, I mean, he used to tune for us, but like I said, going back to growing out of these tuners, you get to the point where they can't handle their workload and our workload at the same time.
Understood.
So there have been times like we've been on the dyno. This is a specific one for Kurt. Like we've been on the dyno, and this is early on when we didn't have our own. We would basically be there. Let's say it's like 4:50 in the afternoon. He doesn't work past 5. He'll literally tell us we're done for today or stop answering at 5 o'clock. And we got to unstrap the car, bring it back another day, finish it.
Oh,
In the middle of a dyno tune.
That's why he sucks.
Yeah, I mean, I don't.
Dog was cool though.
The dog is cool. But honestly, though, like I can't do that as a business owner. You know
No.
what I mean? You can't get stuff done. You know, you can't meet deadlines.
And let's touch on the fact that, like, with tuning, how many of these shops actually do tune? I know
Like when-
Bailey's don't.
No.
No, he's got Z-Dung, right? So
Yeah.
let's be
All
real.
the West Coast
But-
guys
But
are-
at the
I'll
end of
be
the
honest
day,
with you. Some of the fastest shops for every platform use outside tuners. They contract their
yes.
tuners.
So at the end of the day, why is nobody saying those guys? Oh no, those guys suck. They don't even tune.
It's Bailey, yeah, dude, when I hear everybody saying
No one
Bailey's
says
doesn't
Bailey
tune.
sucks because they don't even tune. But man, it's Ripa versus the world, isn't it?
How did that come about? I do notice that on some of the boards and stuff, you guys get a lot of hate.
I think we challenged the elders.
Yeah.
And we went against the void. Because I'm going to tell you right now,
Santa Claus talk.
one of the whatever.
It's Santa Claus talk.
Yeah, let's be real here.
Santa
One
Claus
of the
knows it
main reasons why we were doing the twin turbo stuff was for a long time they wouldn't even sell us Whipples.
Yeah. Or we weren't getting the latest generation.
Dude,
or
I
something.
got an inbox where I'm messaging Dustin saying, "Hey man, how do I get one of these 3.8s?" And he's like, "Oh, just wait, something better's coming." And then I see 4 or 5 3.8s on everybody else's cars. They get to the track first. They run the times. They get the records. And I'm left with, as we say in Italian, "Ugazzaman." You get what I'm saying, dude? I'm left with my dick in my hand, and I got nothing now. So we had to be innovative and put turbos on shit if we wanted to go fast. You know, then when you got a bunch of broken blowers and he's leaving you out to dry, it's just the way the industry works because you're not friends with so-and-so.
Yeah.
Right? Why was it AJ always gets first dibs because he's Dustin's boys?
Yeah.
So AJ's out there cracking records, crushing times. Oh, he must be the greatest. He's the only one with the blower.
Yeah.
He's the only one with the part. How do you expect him not to go fast?
Yeah, and then you're basically controlling the market
And by
who
the
you
time
want
you
to go
get
fast
one,
at that point.
and by the time you get one, no one gives a shit anymore.
Yeah.
So in order to prosper and to be at that top spot, you got to think out of the box.
Yeah. That's why we basically did this to be able to control our own fate, you know, and being able to go faster. And we always knew there was going to be an upside to it. It was going to take some time. And I think it took, like I said, about 2 years to get it perfected, the whole thing. But now it's funny that everybody's going that route now. And we don't get as much hate anymore, I would say, from it. We don't really hear much. The only thing they say is we grease our turbos. But we also don't have to run a whole sump system.
What is
and all
greasing? I know the answer, but I'm asking for general purposes.
Yeah.
What does that mean, greasing your
So we don't
turbos?
run any kind of cooling other than physically having to pump grease into the turbochargers.
Yeah,
So the turbo doesn't have any water dripping through
no
it?
water,
nothing?
no
They're
oil.
grease
No
grease
oil.
cooled.
Yep.
That's how they're lubricated with
Yeah,
grease
grease.
instead of oil.
Yeah.
Why go with a setup like that
Yeah.
over
Well, where we
a
put them on the
traditional
car, it's so far back in the vehicle. Like we're actually mounting these right in front of the fuel tank, which is basically over the back seats in these cars. That's how far back the turbos are. So it makes packaging it a lot easier. It's also lighter. It's way more simple to do it overall. Less parts to fail. So that's why we do it. And we have honestly had great luck with it. So
Yeah.
there's no reason to go away from that at this point, you know,
And simplicity of install, right? I mean, if you're sending a turbo kit to somebody's house and all they're doing is bolting up exhaust lines, pipes, clamps, you know, turbo system that way, you're gonna have a lot more people hesitant to do this if I tell them I got to drill a hole in their oil pan.
Yep.
Or the guy who's at home having to drill a hole in his oil pan. And now a lot of these all-wheel drive vehicles have fun taking that oil pan out with the engine in the car, right? So it's just for practicality. It's innovation.
The
and
turbos
it's new
last
technology.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, they're made by Comp. They're a very reputable company.
Yeah. Comp
How would
turbo,
you
yeah.
compare them performance-wise to a big name like a Precision
or Garrett?
Or a Garrett?
I mean, we're running the fastest times in the world, and there's other people with those turbos on their trucks going slower. So
Yeah.
I would say they're very close.
I mean, there you
know?
go. That's I couldn't have said that better. You know, as far as reliability as well, I mean, I've seen some posts from like Calvo, who's very respected in the Viper industry, where, you know, he almost was seriously injured by a precision turbo that failed, and you know, so it's everything has a chance to fail, right? I mean, these are race parts.
Yeah.
You know.
Oh yeah, I mean, you can go and buy a
comps are on
comp turbo that's oil fed and water cooled and all this stuff. We just do it because specifically for what we do, the way we do it,
This
it makes the
application
most
works.
sense.
Are they the only ones that have that technology?
Yeah, they're the only ones with the grease
Yeah, I
technology.
think On 3 actually does it also.
They just started though.
Yeah, I'm
Right,
pretty sure that they just started it, but they're not anywhere close to the, like, you can buy a grease turbo like the one we have in the office that's, you know, 120 millimeter.
Price-wise, are they similar to like a Precision, or they're cheaper? Like
I would say they're probably actually a little more expensive.
Are these what are these T6 housings?
That one's a T6. The one we run are V-band inlets.
Oh, V-band. Okay.
Yeah.
That's a big ass turbo.
Oh yeah,
You can get them that big.
you can get them huge. Yeah.
Shit.
Yeah, but it's pretty cool. You could literally, the nice thing about
102 or something, like what?
the nice thing about like having a turbo like that is you can mount it in any configuration you want. You could put it completely upside down, vertical, sideways, wherever you want to put it.
Yeah.
It doesn't care about oil feeding and draining. You can put it however you want, mounted in the car
With the grease.
with the grease. Yeah.
Right. That makes sense.
Yep.
So, any other call outs you have, Santa?
Now we ain't got enough time or battery on them f***ing cameras for that.
I had to ask. You seemed like you had to.
Nah,
air 'em out.
I just, you know what, man? Like, all I gotta say is, I'm a Trackhawk guy. I think I got a pretty fast one. It's gonna be a lot faster too. I just want somebody to come at me with all this bullshit that they run their mouth about Trackhawk this and Hellcat that. Go get yourself a 5,600-pound SUV that's got the aerodynamics of a shoebox and come see me. I want to see you run 8s, because I bet you won't, and I bet you I'll throw a rope out the window and drag that ass.
Yeah.
That's just how it is. I'll tell you that right now, and you're just not doing it. I mean, what are these BMWs doing? Let's get on that. What's the X3M doing?
Not 8s.
What's the fastest X3M doing? I'll drag that
Not
shit.
8s.
Drag them. What color does he want? I'll drag them.
Not
We
8s.
got a fleet here, 8 of them. Which one?
Yep.
Kind of sounds like the voice message you
I think
sent me when you're talking.
I think the other thing I want to chat
Instagram.
about is kind of like the direction of where we want to go. Like, we got a lot of flack when we put out our $100,000 kit for these cars. But I would say that everybody that's running 8 in the Trackhawk that doesn't have it has spent $200,000.
Easily. I'll tell you right now, I
So-
spent that $200 just trying to figure out what we needed to get a $100,000 package.
Yep.
Right, all the trial and error is taken out of it. You want to go, you think you could do it better, go ahead.
It's
But
so
I
common
guarantee
in
you
every
ain't.
other expensive car platform, like I would say Vipers, any
Porsches.
R8 stuff, Porsches.
Yeah.
Dude, even like a TTRS built, you're close to that, if not more. You know.
And they're not going 8s.
Yeah. So
With
you
that
always
type of build.
no.
They're
So
in the 9s.
So I would say, like, you know, to be able to drop the vehicle off and in 2 months get it back and be able to, we go to the track with you, and you run an 8-second quarter mile in your own car and you dropped it off bone stock and you don't need anything else, I would consider that a bargain if I was buying it.
I would
But
too.
but the problem is that there's so many people out there they'll hate on it because they're, I don't know, whatever reasoning they have that says that's too expensive. I don't know. But I've built many cars and it's expensive to build a car.
Maybe they don't have $100,000.
Maybe.
What do I get with $100,000 again?
Everything.
An 8-second car.
An 8-second.
You
An
drop
Trackhawk.
8-second, you get an 8-second Trackhawk or Durango.
You drop it off, and you can do it in a couple payments or whatever, but you'll get every single thing you need to have a reliable
Yep.
Trackhawk or Durango.
Down to wheels and tires.
I was gonna say, does that
Yeah,
come
literally
with
comes with
everything.
everything.
I'm
Built
talking about-
engine,
yeah.
heads, twin turbo
for
system.
100K?
Yeah.
8 seconds, and people are complaining.
Yep. And I'll take you to the track too and make sure you do it.
Yep, in your own car.
You got to spend about the same for a BMW, a Supra. It's
Yeah.
like 100. It's like 100.
But like I said, that's the norm though. But
Yeah.
for some reason in this platform, people don't like hearing that it costs that much.
No.
I don't know why. It doesn't really make any sense.
There is no BMW SUV that does that though. Just,
No, I'm talking about
we
like
clear.
just not
no,
BMW.
just so we clear though.
Yeah, yeah. I had to throw that out there for my man. You know,
that was
his
good.
hatred
That
on
was
the
good. I like
Beamers, I,
that.
got to
I
take
like
care of
that.
him.
I'm not even a BMW guy.
As a
I'm
matter of
just like
fact,
a
I do want to ask you guys. You guys are seeing that the new record for the M3, M4, G80, G82 is currently 8.7, and that's the record for all of them. What do you guys think? Is that impressive?
Oh, yeah.
I think it's impressive for a new platform,
Yeah.
a new car.
That's
You know.
fast, man.
You know,
You know, I don't-
Hellcats weren't getting there that quick.
What's done to it?
Single turbo, built motor, built trans.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
fuel
so it's soup
system.
to nuts. There's nothing left.
It's the
really.
same. Yeah, it's the
Gotcha.
same type
Yeah,
of
no,
build, yeah.
It's
that's
still
definitely
impressive, though.
definitely impressive. I mean, that's and it's probably reliable, right? As it
yeah.
can be,
Yeah.
Yes.
right? Because these
Track
are
down
race
home,
cars, ladies
Yes.
and gentlemen. They're race cars, you know.
Yep.
You said they're race cars?
Yeah, they are. They're race
Oh.
cars. When you
okay.
when you run an 870, it's a race car. I've never once said the BMW's a
I
race car.
just wanted you to clarify.
That's him.
No, I just wanted.
That's him.
we still. You're here. You can explain it.
So you can go with your $100,000 package in a 5,600 pound
Yeah.
truck. You can do an 870, right?
Yeah. we've
Oh,
done it
yeah.
many times,
Okay.
yeah.
So
Then
put
A40.
$100,000 into your Hellcat. What are you going to do at the track?
You're going to go faster.
What? Like, give me an idea.
I would say if you did the same sort of build in a Hellcat, you'd probably go 790, 780.
So if you're going to set out
Just
to go,
weight-wise.
so if you're going to set out to go buy a car that you know you're going to drag race, do you buy a BMW?
No.
Right. So BMWs are not race
Not at
cars.
this time, I'd say.
I'm just gonna tell it's a bold statement to say it's not a race car considering it's motorsports.
That's where people
It's-
got a
it-
little triggered.
It says it in the
Yeah.
So-
because of that motorsports
so-
aspect.
But I wouldn't. I'm
We
going
were
to tell you
speaking
right
about
now,
in the
I would never
context
buy a
of drag
BMW to make a
racing.
drag car. I would never buy a
Oh.
BMW to make a drag race car, only because I could accomplish what that's accomplishing easier
That was
with
my
another
different
platform.
platform.
And I feel like you're taking away from that platform because, dude, those Beamers are tits inside, man. They're gorgeous. I mean, they have beautiful interior. You got to take that out. That's got to come out. You got to cage this thing now when you're in the 8s. Like,
Yeah.
what are you doing? I wouldn't personally do that with the car. That's just not for me. I wouldn't destroy. It's a beautiful car. I wouldn't destroy it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not really meant for that.
So we were speaking about in the context of drag racing, right? Straight line, weren't we?
Yeah, if you're
I believe
talking
so.
And-
context
and the
drag race,
initial-
straight line, America wins. I don't
Well,
care what
it wasn't.
is.
I don't think people took it like drag racing. I think it was like more.
No,
street.
they did. They took it as a motorsports and all that. But
Okay.
we were the context in which I mentioned it. I'm not going to go buy a BMW to go drag racing.
That's fair. That's fair.
You want
I
to
can
go
see that.
fast in a straight line, America.
If you
want
wanna
to
go-
unlocked.
That was the
I mean,
statement that I
it's
made.
their sport.
So if a customer came into the shop and said, "Hey, I'm looking to purchase a Hellcat vehicle. I want to drag race it specifically at the track," I would never say buy a Trackhawk or a
Or
Durango.
Durango. Exactly.
But if they say, "I want to buy a Hellcat and I want to be able to have fun with it," you definitely buy a Trackhawk or Durango, like on the street.
100%.
Yeah, there's no
the
comparison.
all-wheel drive, the reliability,
Yeah.
the drivability of it is ridiculous.
I'm glad you cleared that up.
I didn't have to clear
I
nothing
mean, the
up.
other thing with my 8-second 5,600-pound SUV is I also daily it if I wanted to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I drive it everywhere. I take it out on rides. It's it's not like it's not something I can't manage.
Right.
100%. And you could daily those cars too. They're comfortable. They're nice.
I want to see you in a Hellcat, bro.
Me?
Yeah.
So I had an interview yesterday with Joe. He builds Coyotes.
Okay.
I learned a lot about
Fast.
that platform.
Coyotes are
And
fast.
I'm a turbo guy, like you guys mentioned before,
Yeah.
coming from the imports.
Yeah.
And those cars love boost.
Oh yeah.
So for me personally, I'd probably end up in a Mustang. Kind of a little odd.
I mean,
but
I think Mustang bang for the buck. You cannot beat that. in
Cannot
American
beat
car.
them.
It's
Cannot
nowhere
beat it.
close.
yeah, it's
We
it's
can't
dope.
compete with
I
those.
mean,
cars.
Mike over there's got a pretty nasty
Agreed.
Mustang.
It's just
Really?
not, yeah.
Yeah, our
So
shop
you heard it.
manager.
The Hellcat doctor himself said that he cannot compete with those
No,
Mustangs.
dollar for dollar, I would say even with a ton of money spent, you still can't compete. It's
It's impressive the power that they're making on those.
yeah.
The boost by gear, all that stuff, all that platform's like, it's good to go.
No,
Yeah,
that's good
and a
platform.
lot of it is the support, man.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, it's the
Nah.
tuning support.
I mean,
which
how
still
long have they
isn't
been doing
available.
turbos, and we're just getting started into turbos?
Well, because you got to remember though, it's like the devil's advocate. One hand washes the other, where they had the support for it.
Yes.
Lund Racing.
Yeah.
You know, it's not even if you get into HP tuners, when you open that program on a Ford, there are more tables you have access to than you would on a Hellcat platform. I mean, to this day, the other day we're having things added.
Yeah.
You're messaging HP like, can you add this? Can you figure out this table for us to add in? And they're like, oh, okay.
Yeah, we'll get to it.
Yeah, we'll get to it. But it's like that shit already exists on these other platforms.
And that's when the stuff exists is when the companies invest money into it, like the shops.
Yeah.
They say, okay,
Yeah,
this
the
is a
aftermarket.
viable solution. Like let's do this because it makes sense. I'm sure you saw a huge uptick in people starting to play with the C8 Corvette once it was able to be tuned. It's the same thing. Like everybody now is putting twin turbos on a C8. There's East Coast Supercharging. They're only turboing them now. You know what I mean? It's just
And then in the name, East Coast Supercharger.
yeah. But that's what I'm getting at. So like once this stuff becomes available, it gets to that point where companies will invest. Like we'll invest more money in R&D if we know we can tune it. Let's just say we're going to buy the new Charger, Challenger, whatever it may be, but it can't be tuned. What are you going to do? We can start making parts for it, but it might be 2 years until it can be tuned. You might not be able to do anything, So getting that support on the back end tuning wise or some kind of solution to be able to tune it is definitely the key to picking up some of these platforms. That's my thought.
When will you guys start to go for the records on the Hellcat car, like platform?
I don't know if it's really attainable in a Challenger at this point.
It's a race to zero.
Yeah, I would say like the Challenger. That's why I'm going after the Demon 170, whatever we consider that platform. I know it's still a Hellcat or whatever, but it's kind of classified different, I guess. People look at it differently. But to try to go fast in a Hellcat now, I think it's too late. Trying to chase these pro mod
Well, it's
cars,
like look at
Kevin Helmick and
look
stuff.
at Bailey. He has the fastest
what you mean.
demon, right? He's going after that micro record of the fastest demon, and that's kind of the smart way to go.
Yeah.
Because you got Epling, right?
Yeah, you
With
should
Grumpy
never-
Cat's like 690.
So if you ever see like their operation, they have like 2 to 3 motors in a trailer, numerous transmissions, a whole
So you're
team
not
of
going
guys.
to chase a 6-second
No,
pass.
well, I mean,
But what's the
it's
point?
not
Got it.
financially smart to do.
And the amount of people that are going to do that and spend money to do it, I would say it's slim to none.
yeah.
So as a business, it doesn't make any sense. Now, is it a personal thing that I would love to do, go really fast? Sure. But does it make business sense to try to make packages and kits for that stuff? No. I would say that platform it's not really worth it to try to chase the fastest. Now, let's say, do we want to build a 7-second Hellcat package? That's something that's attainable. I think with being turboed and stuff like that.
Is that something that you guys are working on?
Slowly, Scar.
Nice.
Yeah.
And who is slowly?
So our customer, Edward Garcia, slowly, Red Eye, Charger, basically twin turbo. That was another one that started as a ported stock blower. Then we did the Whipple, and then we decided we can't go as fast as we want or compete with the Whipple at that point. So we went twin turbo, and then we went all out with it. And that car's took the record at Pocono, and it's just terribly fast. It just same thing. We're running
How fast did it go?
183.
A low boost.
In how much distance?
I would say so. That's like 1/3 of a mile, but I would say that he probably used 900 feet of
He
it.
broke traction twice. He
Yeah.
got in and out of the throttle.
Yeah, it's all on video too. If anybody
yeah.
wants to watch,
What
so,
color is it?
it's a smoke show gray color.
I did see that one.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he's the guy who's called out the comedian a couple times too, and he just won't respond
Yeah, I think-
to him.
What's his oh,
His
okay.
name is
yeah,
Slowly.
Yeah.
He's called him out a couple times because he really wants him to roll from a race with
That's a
a
per-
race from roll with the hit.
That's a good car to go from a roll with. I would say for him. I would say that would be, if that GTR is as fast as he says it is, he's still gonna have a hard time.
Where is he from? Slowly.
New York.
So, I feel like the East Coast doesn't get a lot of recognition for a lot of the builds and cars that we have on this side.
Yeah.
Why do you think that is a thing that everyone always just looks at Texas? And
We don't
other
have any
states?
tracks.
Yeah, I think that's the reason. Because
Tracks.
because we can only go to the track, I would say, 2 months out of the year.
And it's the culture.
And it's all weather dependent.
Right.
People around here, it's definitely a culture thing too.
Yeah, it's the culture.
The culture.
yeah.
Yeah, when I was in the South, man, like you got a Friday night, you just went to the racetrack. You better get there early. You're not getting a seat.
On a Friday night.
On a Friday night, just a regular test and tune, man. There's
Yeah.
people that are hanging out. They're bringing their family. They're having beers. People are cooking. Like it's a thing to do. It's like Texas high school football, right? Like it's
Yeah,
the
yeah.
same. Here, it's like we got a big event and there's like 5 people in the stands. Like no one even cares. They just
Yeah.
we're going because we're enthusiasts and literally everyone there. You brought everyone.
And that's
But
why
there-
you see these tracks closing.
you literally see people
know?
that aren't racing. They're there to watch the races. Like I was in Louisiana at a track called State Capitol, and there was like a JJ the Boss event. He was coming there, and that was, I think, Demonology was racing Donkmaster or something happened. It was like, dude, there were like 10,000 people there. I mean, it was insane. Like the amount of people, and there weren't even that many cars there, but they just they're there to watch the races, man.
Yeah.
Like, so that's probably why they get no recognition. That, and let's be real, man, we do it to ourselves. We do it to ourselves up here because of the street race scene. I mean, the only racing you see from New York people is, you'll see the street race stuff, and it just, people don't do that in the real race world. The stipulations, the rules, the making stuff up as you go. Like, it works for everyone up here because everybody
Right.
agrees on it. Let's be real. These people have races, they agree on it, but it's different down there. You're not going to find, like I said, when I was in the South, you're not going to find people that are going to agree to races with stipulations. They're just like, what are you talking about?
Yeah.
Like, when did the racetrack have a stipulation?
I think if you had all the people that were standing on the side of the highway with one of these big New York, New Jersey, Maryland street races at a track, you'd have more tracks.
Yeah.
Because you could get, 6 or 7 big races off in a night. They don't care if you gamble, whatever.
Oh, no, there's
You
always
still
gambling
do
on
it.
track.
But A, it's safe. And B, you're going to be able to support the track. You know what I mean? You're going to have all these people going, paying admission. I don't understand what the big deal is, pay $15 or $20 at that point. But you could actually have a legit race that somebody won.
Yeah, we don't have
Someone's
any
getting
tracks.
someone's going to get paid, and it just is, it is what it is. So
It's killing the sport.
I think it's just it's kind of I don't know, something I'm not involved in, but
So, before we wrap up, it's for the viewers, people listening, because it's a podcast.
yeah.
Can't forget that. Can you pretty much, like, I don't want to say convince people, but can you kind of like bring more awareness to your platform and let people know that you can make a lot of power with these and you can do big things with the Hellcat platform? and
Yeah,
so
I mean,
on?
I would say I think everybody knows that you can make big power with a Hellcat. I think it's always the fact that A, it's a traction issue, the car weighs too much.
Okay.
So I would say if we get into making more lightweight parts or get the cars down to about the same range as, let's say, a Mustang
Okay.
or, even a Camaro, which is much lighter than one of these. You get to that level of weight, which may be something we should look into, getting more people into that weight loss versus just adding power, making the cars, let's say both 36 or 3,700 pounds side by side. I would guarantee that this will smoke a Mustang side by side.
Oh,
At
so
the
we
same
can
weight.
compete.
Oh, yeah, no.
So we
At the
can
same weight,
compete.
I would say.
Oh, yeah. No,
if
you
get
said
to that
dollar
level.
for dollar. You misunderstood what he said. He said dollar for dollar, it can't
Yeah.
compete.
That's
Those
what he
things are
said,
cheap,
even with
man.
big money.
Yeah, but I think, to get there, you need a lot more of the big companies who mass produce stuff to get on board. Like the little guys like us, we make it's kind of like niche market stuff.
Yeah.
We basically make the aftermarket for a Trackhawk and a Durango because no one else, you're not going to go and, like Tony said, or Santa said, go to get anything out of a catalog. So you have to either come to us or another shop that might be making stuff, you
Right.
know. But if you got big companies like, let's say like Holly or any of these really large companies that make an intake manifold, or they make, let's say, like suspension components and spindles and K-members and all this stuff that, let's say a BMR makes a K-member for a Mustang.
Right.
It weighs like 15 pounds. K-member in this thing's 50 pounds. Like everything's double the weight. So you start doing that kind of stuff, get more of the big companies on board. I think, from a business side, I think they would actually get a big bump in business and you would see more people trying to go fast with these. So
Well said. You agree?
100%.
Yeah. I mean, yeah.
I think it's just a support thing, honestly.
Yeah.
I'm an all car guy.
All car guy.
I love all cars. Even
fair.
BMWs, I love them too.
You drive one, so
I love them.
you did say that.
I just love them for what they're good for.
Yo, this guy.
As of 2023, what records does Ripatuned hold, and what are those numbers?
So race motive record with Slowly, 183.
And that is a what car?
That's a Charger Red Eye,
And what's done to it?
twin turbo. And then we have the TRX record, quarter mile, quickest and fastest. Second place is still one of ours, so quickest and fastest.
We had the most SUVs in an 8-second bracket.
Yeah, so I would say like on the top
Flat out.
5, on the top list on Trackhawk, we have it's flooded with Ripatuned trucks on the 8-second list, and there's only a couple other shops that are even on there. Fastest Durango, and then like I said, going into 2024, we have I said the TRX, but I said going into 2024, I'd say the Demon stuff. I'm gonna play with that. So yeah, and then we're gonna go after Trackhawk. I'm not worried about. So
Good stuff, man.
We're gonna bury the Trackhawk record next
Yeah.
year.
Next year. I mean,
Next
we're already
2024.
24.
Couple weeks away.
We're a couple weeks away.
yeah, we're
Well, that's what happens.
every
We-
track up here. You can't do
everything's
anything
closed. We
so
lost.
You can't even find a rental or anything. We've talked about this. It's just, that's our biggest thing right now is guys in the South can race. If we want to even go racing right now, it's a big investment.
Yeah, traveling and such.
Yeah.
So. All right. Well, I do want to say I appreciate you guys.
Appreciate you coming out.
Yeah, thank you so
Man,
much
it's
for the
awesome, man. Thank
hospitality.
you.
You
Thank
guys are they're really cool. They definitely treat you like I feel like I was a customer for some reason. I was like, yeah,
I didn't even sell you anything.
Yeah, like offer me water,
You got
food,
sick-
everything.
Santa Claus.
Yeah, no,
live in color.
I was in the zone, but I do appreciate that. Thank you so much.
Thanks, man.
So can you tell the viewers where to find you?
So you can find us on Instagram, Ripatuned, Facebook, Ripatuned. You can go on our website, www.ripatuned.com. Email Tony at Ripatuned or myself, Steve at Ripatuned. We're very quick to answer at any time. We're on the phones basically 24/7. Text message, you can text us. But anything you need, you can find us online and we'll help you out. So
He stole the show on that one. I'm just saying. Listen, I'm
No,
saying
maybe your Instagram or
Where
something.
can they find
my
Santa?
Instagram is _Trackhawk. I try and keep it to the email and stuff. It just gets easier with, Tony at Ripatuned, and the Facebook page, it's Ripatuned as well. And, that's probably the best way to get a hold of us. I'm pretty good at turnaround. And,
Yeah, I just realized that you were the one who DM'd me about the DSM parts.
DSM parts.
Yeah, my friend has a 2G Eclipse, remember?
Okay.
And we
he's
tried
got a
getting it to
DSM
start.
graveyard, yeah, probably.
What, did you need parts or something?
No, you offered it. You were like, "Oh, I have parts if your friend needs any."
Oh, yeah. I have a DSM graveyard in my
Yeah.
house, dude. I've had, I could probably build a 8-second DSM with
Yeah,
the
he's
shit
got
laying
parts
around.
too,
Yeah.
but it was just funny because I remember that. I'm like, wait,
Oh, okay.
Now I made the connection. That's pretty funny.
Yeah, I try. Whenever I see DSMs, I always try and reach out because that was my favorite platform. That was,
we
and,
just
and
can't get it to
DSM
start.
guys were different, man. They didn't hate on anybody.
Yeah.
We were all in the struggle together because we knew that every time we started that car, we did this. Like, is it gonna start every time? So that was
I got to experience that last month when we tried and didn't get anywhere. So it wasn't
Well,
a waste.
if you need help,
so.
reach out, man. I'll
Yep.
take care of
Yeah.
you guys.
No, I appreciate
got
that.
shit laying around.
So I appreciate you too, bro. Thank you. I know we go back and forth, but it's all for
Thank you for having me.
We have
I
no
appreciate
issues in
it.
real life.
I love coming on the BMW podcast.
This guy.
For any of you that don't know, I'm Mod to Fame, aka Stefan, and he considers me to be a Hellcat guy because a lot of the notoriety and stuff that I've done has been in Mopar land, but I love all cars. That being said, we got some plans coming up, and we got some big news that might be happening in these doors right here between Mod to Fame and Ripatuned. So stay tuned.
I'm excited for that.
Should be fun.
And make sure you guys go check out his episode too. If it wasn't for his episode and what he said about BMWs, I don't think
Viral.
BMWs are race cars.
Viral. Nice.
Guys, all got mine of James. Give Santa some top. James from RSP over there.
Oh, come on.
No, we ain't doing that.
I'm walking away on that.
That's a bit much.
Well, until next time, guys, make sure you guys like, share, comment, and subscribe, and we will catch you on the next one. Peace.
Peace.